Sir, you're charged with especially aggravated kidnapping. You're also charged with aggravated assault, and you're charged with theft of a firearm worth less than $2,500.
You're talking about stuff that is not relevant.
Hello and welcome to the Court of Public Opinion. I am the recovery addict, and boy do I have a case for you today.
Why is the dog chewing on this guy?
I think they have got the wrong guy there.
Got the wrong guy, and the dog was biting him.
He roughened him up quite a bit. There's a lawsuit.
Good morning. It's good to be here today. Fabulous Wednesday morning, halfway through the week. Hump day! We made it halfway there. Let's see what we've got here. We've got a couple things going on. I wanted to play just a little audio clip before we do roll call here, just to get us hyped for what's going to happen today in the trial. Because I think we're at that point where we're about to get some evidence that's going to contradict what Alex Murdaugh has been telling police. So I want you to listen really carefully for this. This is audio from a hearing, a pretrial hearing, where Alex's team was arguing about we're trying to give this alibi, and the state's supposed to tell us exactly what the alibi is. I'm going to play just the response from Creighton to their argument that you haven't told us even when the murders happened. Okay, so this is the response here. Listen carefully.
That information is available to the defense. The indictments themselves specify that Alex Murdaugh killed his wife and son on June 7th, 2021 in Colleton County. It's extremely well-known, maybe one of the most well-known facts in the state that occurred at the property in Moselle. I've had conversations with Mr. Griffin in which I note that there is a video that shows Alec present at the scene, despite his denials, with Maggie and Paul at 8:44 p.m., not long before their phones ceased any meaningful activity.
Okay, so do you hear that? We have a video, 8:44, that puts Alec at the scene despite his denials with his wife and son. Hopefully that video is coming in today. That's what I'm saying. Hopefully the video comes in today. We're awaiting, obviously, a feed from the courtroom, which is not quite happening yet. I'm super excited. Somebody, let's see. First of all, we have to give away the internet. I don't want to have this in my hands any longer than I have to. Let's see who wins today. It looks like Myra. Myra, you were up first. I didn't get your initial comment, which I think was, let me see. I can see it on one screen, but not on the other. Initial comment. Oh, it's gone as well. I lost it. Okay. But you were first. I promise. There's no getting out of it. You won the internet today. Thanks for being first in chat, Myra. Appreciate you being here. Would not be the same without you. But unfortunately for you, all things internet related are also your responsibility today. So please keep it up and running for all of us, because we're all counting on you. This is going to be a day we do not want to miss. So thank you very much, Myra. Let's see. Christy P has a new member gallery membership, a member for 1 month. So this is new member again. So this is re-up. So that's why her color changed to aqua. And it looks great. It looks great. Christy, that looks amazing. Thank you very much for that. Appreciate your support of the channel. Let's see here. We've got a couple people here. We need to do a roll call. So let's try to fly through this, because we've got less than half an hour before court starts, and we want to talk about things, and we have to do our ASMR moment and everything. We've got lots to do. So Richard's here. TW, Christy P, gotcha. Let's see, Christy, not only is she here for a month, she just gifted a membership as well. So when we get to the bottom of the roll call, we'll see who won that membership. Thank you so much, Christy, for your generosity. Love having you here. I appreciate you so much. So Christy's here. Shells, Myra, Sharon McDonald, Nems Girl, Eileen. Good morning, Eileen. Let's see, TW Toxic Orchid. Good morning. Hope you're feeling good this morning. Hope the recovery is going well. We're thinking of you here. JR, you're here as well. Minsky, good morning to you. Katrina will be back when we start. I need coffee, she says. All right, we'll hold your seat for you. Let's see. Just Tom is here. Hello. See you as well, Tom. Horse sheet and bananas. One of these days I'm going to mess up. Hey, yeah, I'd love some oatmeal this morning. That would be wonderful. Thank you, Mrs. R.A. Brown sugar is great. I'm starting without breakfast, so Mrs. R.A. is bringing me some oatmeal for breakfast, which is a healthy start to every morning. Samantha Terry is here. Is everyone ready for another amazing day in Pickleville? Yes, we are, wholeheartedly. Red Pen, good to have you here. Nice to bump into you on some other channels last night as well. That was fun. TW is here. I got you. Myra says, oh no, that's too toxic. Let's see. Had to go back under the knife yesterday evening. Something was wrong with the new hardware. Oh no, toxic. We were hoping you were going to be up for the marathon this weekend. Well, maybe next weekend. Hopefully, we're praying for a quick recovery for you. Thank you very much. All right, I've got too many things on my desk here, so let's keep going here. Sandy Fields, good morning. Keep an eye on Jensen as well. Right, we've got Verdict Watch in Jensen today. So let me know as that goes. We might have to pop in and do sort of a split screen and mess up with the audio a little bit. Depends what's happening. If we're watching the Snapchat video on Alex Murdaugh, I'm not going to drop Murdaugh to watch Jensen get another life sentence, because I think that's what's going to happen. I'd be surprised if he doesn't get convicted right now. That's just where I'm at. Let's see. Samantha Terry, good to have you here. Toxic pain isn't as bad as it was. No more grating sound. Oh, my goodness, you're popping in there. That doesn't sound exciting at all, the grating sounds. My knee's hurting me, but it's not making a grating sound. Let's see. Bite me, good morning on this wonderful Wednesday. Hit the like button as you come through the door. It's easiest when you do right when you enter. That's correct. Samantha Terry. Alexis, hello, Terry. Good to have you as well. Mary Kay is here. Looks like everybody has Toxic in their thoughts and prayers. Hopefully this is going to go great for you, Toxic. We're thinking of you. I like this. Toxic, you call him Horse. Just Horse. I saw that in the chat the other day. I'm like, who are they talking about? That's a horse. And now I realize it's the horse sheet and bananas. We're going to call you Horse. That's a little easier on me, so I don't accidentally slip and step right into it, so to speak. Let's see. Red Pen, we got you already. Oh, somebody just 1 month me here. Who is that? This is Tish. Good morning. Hope you have an amazing day. I said fabulous, but you said amazing. Thank you so much for being a member of the jury. Appreciate you, Tish. You're amazing. Your support of the channel does not go unnoticed. Thank you so much. Would not be the same without you here. Let's see. Toxic. We got you, Debbie. I actually show that Myra won the internet. I think my history went back a little further than yours on that one, Debbie. But that's awesome. Thanks for watching out for me. Bite Me's here for all who are needing a speedy recovery. We got sunflowers. Please take one. Carol. Thank you for being here as well. Lindsay Hendricks, howdy from this chilly Texan. It is cold down there. What have you need to bribe Weather Watch. I think that's what needs to happen. You bribe him. I'm not sure what the food is, whether it's donuts or bagels. I'm not sure what his breakfast food of choice is, but send him some and he'll bring you good weather. That's how it works. Okay, I just missed everybody. I've got to figure out how to do this better. Maui Gal is here. Michelle's. There are so many chats that everything I missed is now gone off my screen. I can't even scroll up to get to it. So I know I'm going to miss people on the roll call today. Tracy, good to have you. Katrina, we've got plenty of mods in the house now, so I think we're safe to start playing. Let me actually get the audio running on the courtroom in case we have any hot mic moments this morning. Laura says, want to play cars? Laura's been entertaining everyone in the back of the courtroom, which is great. Appreciate you, Laura, keeping things light, especially when some of this testimony and the evidence admission just drags sometimes. Maui Gal, 3:55 a.m. If you aren't an addict, or the definition of an addict, Maui Gal, I don't know what is, because I'm not sure if I could get up at 3:55 a.m. Even to hang out with my best friends. But I'm so glad you're here this morning. Hope whatever you have to do later this afternoon isn't super important, or you can get a nap through it or something. Gleaves is here. Good morning to you. Melissa, Debbie, let's see. I think we've got all our Lauras, right? Laura, AJ, good morning, addicts. Good morning to you, AJ. Super excited about your news about the job. We're starting on Valentine's Day, right? That is really neat. Super excited. Can't wait to hear you check in from work sometime saying, hey, guess what? The boss lets me watch during work. Nems girl, it's 14 feels like 5 in Kansas City. I hate the cold. Told hubby a couple days ago I want to move to Florida. Is he going to take you up on it? Let us know if you make the move. We do have a couple people down there that can vouch for the great weather in Florida most of the year, minus the hurricane season. Adam Nusky. I remember how to pronounce your name because you said Nusky like husky. Unless I'm pronouncing husky wrong, and then I'm in a big trouble. True Mutt's here. Good morning. Let's see. He says, if I could ask, I would be most grateful if you all would at some point today would check out my newest shirt, Train Stop Train. Thanks. Well, Mutt, good to have you here. For those of you who don't know, Mutt has his own YouTube channel. I've been able to pop in a couple times and say hi on it. He's been here for a long time, so if you want to pop over there and see what he's all about, he sure would appreciate it. Toxic Human Thoughts from AJ. Yes. TW. Red Pen. Let's see who else we have here. And here we go. See, I'm barely catching up to that. And I messed up the opening for those that watched. I started playing it without sound. So I had to rewind and start over. Hopefully, my ears just did a funny thing. Like one went quiet and the other went loud. Hopefully that didn't affect you as well. Melissa's here, takes her seat. Weather Watch is here. Good to have you, Weather Watch. We need to talk about schedules and everything. We'll do that here sometime today. My phone's on Do Not Disturb. Let me actually turn that off so I can get messages on the burner phone. Okay, Golden Mom, KX Star, DW. Let's see, Brittany, 11 Fahrenheit. Where are you at, Brittany? That is so cold this morning, because that's a bit chilly. 13, where Rhonda is. Victoria, happy hump day to you as well. I already did my hump day shout. I only have one of them in me in the morning. If I try two, my voice will crack, I'm pretty sure. Denise is here. DW, Miss L, Victoria S. Let's see. We got Katrina. Becky Lou Creations. Good morning, everyone. Becky, good to have you here. Can't wait to hear what your creations are about. I love the names that indicate that you have a side business or a hustle going on. Let us know what it is. We'd like to take a peek. A lot of us are curious that way, and some of us might be able to support you a little. Shells is here. Myra says, Recovery Addict, good morning. Thank you for always showing up and providing amazing coverage. Thank you, Myra. Well, it's all because of you today, actually, because you have the internet. Everyone took their seats. Nice. Eagles Prey is here. He's ready to go. He, she, sorry. I assign genders to people at random. And if I misassign you, I apologize. Tabitha's here. Maria McKee. Who did I miss so far? Not today is here. Jessica. Christy, Samantha Terry, Suzanne. I'm starting to forget who I said already. Last Poet is here. Georgia Carver. Linda Denton. Good morning, Linda. Going to be on the road again. House visit. So glad to have you along. Thanks for making my travels more enjoyable. Thank you, Linda. I'm glad we could go along with you. I wish we could look out the window, though. If you could just show us what happens out the window. As I drop my phone on the ground. I probably shouldn't admit to this, but I've owned an iPhone since I think Model 3 came out. Not every iPhone, but I've owned an iPhone since the third model. That was my first. And I have never dropped an iPhone and broken it. I've dropped an iPhone a lot of times, but I've never dropped an iPhone and broken it. And today my record is continuing because I just dropped my phone and did not break it yet. Once again, Wallflower's here. Good morning to you, Wallflower. Jen Hoff. Lynn Hoke is here. Good morning, Lynn. Linda Hill. There's a lawsuit. We've got all the Lauras. I think we've got all the Lauras. Missy Pants, good morning to you. Nancy Shutterbug. 7, what's up, the main man RA? 7, hope you're doing great today. Good to have you along this morning, bright and early. Last Poet. Ven is here on time. Again, get that journal out. It's time to make another entry, apparently. It's early for Ven. Not as early as Maui Gal. I think she's probably the earliest one. A few of you are up late, though, I think, on the other side of the world. Michelle Johnson, Good Wednesday morning to you. Did anyone ever see or hear Murdaugh's voice clip where it sounds like he admits the questionable activities? Laura, are you talking about where he says, I did him so bad or something? Or they did him so bad? That was actually an argument. It's like the gray dress, blue dress type argument on Facebook or on social media. Some people hear it one way, some people hear it another. If you actually go on social media and watch, there are a couple of videos you can find where as long as the words are on the screen telling you what you think you're going to hear, you'll hear it that way. And so you can hear the same thing over and over. But if the words change and say, well, now you're hearing this, your mind will hear that. So I'm not sure if that's going to be the gotcha moment that it sort of was when we first our ears perked up a little bit. The jury, I think, will recognize that they're not really sure what it says, even slowed down at 1/3 speed. Sunny Florida Mom is here. Jill Hipple, good morning from dark and early California. Looking forward to the cell phone info. Yes, we are today. That's going to be great. Bite Me's here. I'm bummed because I have a doctor appointment today and I'll miss some testimony. Can you do like a little Bluetooth headset in one ear? We'll have it available for you on the replay. Bite Me. How about that? Eileen is here. Good morning. D'Avel. 112,000 people without power in Austin, Texas because of this ice storm. That's awful. That's awful. That's cold. Without power when it's cold is the worst. I mean, it's also bad when it's hot. Both are miserable, but cold is life-threatening. It seems worse when it's cold for some reason. How do you gift a membership? Myra, I think you have to be able to, depending on the device you're on, you have to be able to click on the $ symbol or something. Maybe you have to ask somebody. Ask Tish. She figured it out. Or Christy figured it out this morning as well. Sherry Zabar is as good as she's good here. She's here. Sorry, I don't know where that good came from. Bella, Kelly Seibald, good day from Adelaide, Australia, from the bottom of the world, the other side of the globe, where it's warm, I imagine, as we complain about our winter weather up here. Australia's in summer, which means Christmas time is hot, right? It seems strange for some of us, but that's your normal. S Webb, good to have you here. Agent K just lurking around. I like the name. Let's see. We had some Secret Service guys on the stand the other day, and all the people who are actually Secret Service don't wear the Secret Service lanyard. We covered that in detail. Recovery Addict will be shocked if Jensen's not found guilty. I agree. AJ says raisins in the oatmeal. I do not have raisins. I've got brown sugar, which I can't do white sugar in oatmeal. It has to be brown sugar. Breakfast on the go. It will be. Once things start, I'll start taking a bite. Still a little warm, so it's not cold oatmeal because that is not good. Kelly, let's see. Laura. Oh, this one's gonna stump me here. Mario Lynn. Is the J a Y sound? I need a pronunciation guide. I think the last is Jaeger. DeJager. Mariolian DeJager. Is that close? Can somebody give me a heads up? Thanks for being here, Jaeger, anyway. I appreciate you. Let's see. Natalie's here. Thank you, Natalie. Thal, good morning, Pickle Crew. Good to have you in the crew here, Thal. I think I'm close. Army Mom. No, it's cold, but it's going to get to 35 degrees Celsius by the end of the week. All right, that's warm. 35 Celsius. Holly Henderson. Okay, fractured. I know I missed some. Bama Girl's here. Bama Girl 1955. We have ice this morning in Cokeville. Is it Cokeville or Cook? I think it's Cookeville. Cookville. How about that? Cookville. I'm really bad at pronunciations if you guys don't know that already. You're getting all of them this morning wrong. Courtesy of me. Not a Drama Llama. Good morning as well. Debbie, sorry, I don't have my sound effects loaded right now. But I'll give you the cat sound because you asked for it so nicely.
I'm not a cat.
All right, if I missed you, I need you to raise your hand in chat. And if you just show up from now on, Coffee Mom, you made it on time. You have to say you're late. Exclamation point late in chat if you just show up. Snapchat emoji. Is there a Snapchat emoji? Gordon Blackett, Share Bear, O-Town Chill, Cat Law, Rowdy, Katrina, Angie, Queen Olive, Ritz. I love this. This makes it so much easier when you raise your hand and say, hey, you missed me. Ritz is here. Sorry if I can click on it right. I'm all over the place with my mouse this morning. Jenny Says is here. If I missed you, just raise your hand in chat and I'll get to you. What are we hoping to see on Snapchat? Christy, this is amazing. First of all, we know that the defense has said in a pre-trial hearing, we played the audio a minute ago, that they have a video of Alex with Maggie and Paul at the murder scene, 8:44 p.m., where he initially said he wasn't even there. His story has changed a little bit. He's filed that notice of alibi, and now he's like, well, I was here in the area, but I was sleeping, I was taking a nap and stuff. Well, this sounds like this goes against what his story is. So his story has to change a wee bit to fit this little fact. Nems Girls, I survived an F4 tornado. Hurricanes don't worry me much. Hubby not on board yet. He's a mommy's boy. Well, maybe mom needs to move out to Florida as well, Nems Girl, and that would solve everything. Jonathan Davenport is late, but he's hiding in back. Actually, you've got to move up to the front. You know, you've got that seat reserved for you, Jonathan. Thanks for being here. Laura, good morning. Old dude, missed you. Sorry about that. Queen Olive. Rosie from Tucson, good to have you. We need a little yell from the pickle here. Courtesy of Rosie. Thank you, Rosie. It just goes and goes. Another Laura. Okay, the other Laura is here. Let's see. We've got courtroom feed. I'm going to take that now just in case something happens. I'm going to keep talking, though. Come on, courtroom. There we go. Little bits here. Tish says, I can gift from my Android. Right side of the chat box, there's a $sign, $BO. Click it. There. Or button, a dollar button. Click it. There are all your options. There we go. Okay, oatmeal, same as porridge. Quick oats, like instant oats is what we do. Boiling water, oats, a little bit of salt. Tastes delicious. Minsky, it's negative 32 Celsius here in Montreal, Quebec. That's cold. You can keep it. Actually, I just decided you can keep the cold, Minsky. You don't have to send any down our way. Mountain Mama's here. Hey, guys. Good to have you, Mountain Mama. Lindsay Hendricks, Christy to start. It places him there at the kennels, which he made clear initially when he told the cops. He said he was never there. He's also at different clothing than he was when the officers responded. Curious if his phone steps will match. There's so much data. There's so much. This is why it's so hard to commit the perfect crime, especially with all the technology we have today. And with everyone, all the victims have, and the defendant having phones and car GPSs, and there's every possible way you can track somebody's what they do. It's hard to do something and have the evidence not show otherwise, or vice versa. That is the Snapchat emoji. Snap fingers in a chat bubble. Okay, Snapchat. I got it. I was a little bit slow on that one, but here we go. I'm going to take law and crime just for a second here so we can see people coming into court this morning as they find their way into the building. There's Buster. Here we go. And I think that's the brother, right? Alex's brother or brother-in-law. I don't remember which. Jiggy Jules is here listening while I work. Awesome, Jiggy. Becky Lou Creations. Hey, thank you for the shout-out. Love to create all kinds of things using paints and or paper. That's awesome, Becky Lou. I have zero creative bones in my body. I'm not very good at that. Let's see. KH in South Carolina. Good to have you here, K. KF7AIK, 9 degrees feels downright tropical compared to yesterday morning. Just a balmy 9 degrees up there in Evanston. Enjoy your commute, Bob. Good to have you here on this morning commute. Alex Murdaugh is guilty, just like Buster Murdaugh, says Texas tough. We're just going to see if they can convince the jury of that. That's what we're trying to do. Let's see. Tish, forgive my phone takeover. I swear I typed everything correctly. No, it's good. I understand what you were trying to say. Laura says, Rosie, where did you find the pickle? I don't know. She sent it to me. It just showed up in my P.O. box. And she said, I found this and I'm sending you one. Your kids are going to love it. And they do. They run around the house pushing the button until I'm like, okay, don't push the button anymore. It's enough. Eileen, I like maple syrup in my oatmeal. I might have to try that. That's good. Jenny says, shout out to the spicy maple bourbon pickles, which are my favorite, I just might add. And Walmart, if you're listening, please sponsor me by sending free spicy maple bourbon pickles to the channel. Susan Bond is here. Sorry, I missed you, Susan. Is that Maggie's sister? It might be. We're just looking here. They're sort of just setting up outside for a live shot, it looks like. That's nothing really fancy. That was Lynn Murdaugh, Alex's sister, Jenny says. Okay. Didn't watch Jensen closing past 1 minute. Was jury sequestered? And I think they were not sequestered. I think the closing was spicy as well. So that's probably a good thing why we didn't air that. I think that was Maggie, says Jenny. Isn't Maggie dead? It was Maggie's sister. Okay, sorry. I think he entered too soon. Like that was the ghost of Maggie entering the courtroom for revenge. That would be something, wouldn't it? Let's see. Kevin here. It's early, 6:21 a.m. Good to have you, Kevin. Kelly, 1 a.m. here on a Thursday morning. Oh my goodness. You guys are crazy. I'm glad we can be with you today. It's Marissa. I missed you. I'm sorry. If I missed you again, raise your hand. I think I've got everyone who raised their hands. So those who didn't raise their hand, I'm just going to mark you as gone. So the closing was spicy. Yeah, it had some more pickle talk over there in the Jensen trial. So not the good pickle. If you can sign your name, you're an artist. Miss Chris, sorry, Christine Bear. Sunny. Great. Vixen, good to have you here as well. I think we're ready to start. If we can just let the judge know we can start early this morning, that would be great. Chandra's here and late. It's great to have you though, Chandra. The court hasn't started. Kathy, I'm sorry I missed you. I thought I saw you there in chat, but I might not have called out your name. Miss Chris is lurking and working. Those two go hand in hand. I am Ami 008, yodeling pickle on Amazon. Okay, that's one place to get the yodeling pickle, Amazon. In the office today for the first time since December. Forgot my headphones, so everyone gets to listen to Aria this morning. Hey, everybody in Tracy's office. I just want to say Tracy's amazing. If I can just vouch for her, if she's up for any sort of award or promotion, go ahead and call me on the burner phone. I'll put in a good word for her. She's been absolutely incredible, just reliable as all get out. It's really your honor to work with her. So thank you all in Tracy's office for listening today, whether or not you have a choice. Lisa B. missed yesterday. What's thoughts on Alex's comment about doing Paul so bad? Okay, so the thoughts on that, I'll tell you, the first time I heard that video, I thought he said they. But I saw the reaction in the courtroom, and everyone else on chat was just like, did he just say I did him bad? And then when they slowed it down and listened to it, first of all, slowing it down and listening to something does not always work well. I think they played it at the speed that makes it most sound like perhaps he might have meant to say they. He doesn't say they, but he also sort of didn't say I. It was like a sort of thing, with maybe a little bit of a hard syllable at the beginning, like die. Or I don't know. It was weird. And with the accents, I'm just not sure it's going to be one way or the other. I don't think that would put a jury member over the fence on the conviction side. It was interesting, though. Possible slip that he might have caught at the last second. Where's my award for finishing foul Jensen? There's got to be some sort of award, Georgia, if you sat through all of that. I want to see metadata when Paul took the video. I think he uploaded it later at 8:44, but took the video early when he was with his parents. Alibi would make sense then. Nems girl, that's interesting. Possibly the Snapchat data, because Snapchat's going to have information about when that was uploaded, would show if it was a live upload or pre-uploaded. Skunka Bacon says, my daughter saw the pickle at Kohl's. Kohl's sometimes has stuff that might have ended up first on another website, and then
if anybody needs help figuring out VA claims stuff, let me know.
Thal, thank you very much. I had to hunt for your video just for a second, or for your link. Thal comes in with a generous donation. I think Thal is saying that he figured out VA claims. He got it sorted. So now he's passing on the wealth of knowledge. Thank you very much, Thal. You've been super generous on the channel. and good to talk to you offline as well. So appreciate everything you do. Do you still sing an ode to oatmeal? Oh my goodness. I don't sing the ode to oatmeal. I did write an ode to oatmeal many years ago while I was in England and ate a lot of oatmeal. But I'm not going to share it on the channel. It's not the sort of prose that one brags about. It barely met the iambic pentameter requirements. So, okay, he did them dirty. Some people think that's a confession. It was like that he was admitting it. It just slipped out. He couldn't hold it in any longer. It's crazy. There's a lawsuit. That this trial is dragging on and on. I really wish the lawyer would get his stuff together and get the ball rolling. Laura, I think it's going to go a lot faster today. Adam says, not at all a worry that your references have a burner phone. No, that wouldn't. Why would that look bad on anyone? That I'm calling you from a phone that I will throw away and never claim ownership of. Yeah, if you need me to be a reference on your resume, just call me up, tell me what I'm supposed to say. No, I couldn't do that. I would have to tell the truth. The jury had a question in the Jensen case before they left for the day yesterday. A little bit. Yeah, I heard they had a request for a whole bunch of stuff, like craft paper, scissors, tape, sticky notes, maybe some glue and glitter or something. I don't know what it was exactly. I only heard part of it. But they did ask for a lot of things that sounds like they're sort of building their own little crime scene, diorama or something. You have a great point about the uploading of the Snapchat. Never considered that. I do believe Snapchat has the ability, even though they say that once it's shared and it's gone forever. I believe they have the ability to recall messages on the server side with a warrant, and I'd be surprised if that's not the case. Kayla says I heard they as well. Do you remember where you heard the info? I found it interesting and a bit too convenient. He has an explanation for that now, given he didn't know about the snap initially. Yeah, his story changed. His story to the police changed. There's no question about it. Now I think the affidavit of alibi that he filed, basically saying, I have an alibi. I cannot be found guilty of this crime because I was somewhere else at the time. Because there's empirical evidence that definitely says that I am not responsible for this. That's what he's basically claiming with that alibi filing. It's different than his first story. It is. They're subtle but significant differences. He absolutely said they. He says wait for it. My dog Murray is here. I heard I did it bad. Yeah, so we're split on that, and maybe the jury is as well. So I don't think that'll be a deciding factor. They'll need more. Let's see. I listened again, and definitely was an I. I'm sticking with I. The closing was spicy in Jensen, apparently. If you want to go back and watch that, I'm sure it's available online. There was a lot of that. Okay, the Jensen closing, Laura, we're talking about, the Mark Jensen trial was spicy. We left that trial because it got too much to edit, and it was too stressful for me on the threat to my channel. It's not much, but I like what we have here. So I just couldn't stand the thought of them doing something that would make me have to pay the price, because that wouldn't be fair. Question, have you heard the 911 call where he says, I've been up to it now? I think we heard that call already, Mountain Mama. I think we heard the 911 call, and there was something like that didn't sit right with me. That sounded like he sort of jumbled his sentence a little. That's how I took it when I first heard it. So we'll have to go back and look at that in light of the they issue. That would be interesting. Lindsay, I made it to the grocery store, and y'all are coming inside with me. Awesome. I hope you have a Bluetooth speaker, and you crank it up to 11. No, just kidding. Have fun with your shopping. Make sure you get some pickles. Snapchat was one of the things that also did Genius Halderson in. Oops. Yeah. Who said Murdaugh was at the crime scene with his wife and son? Debbie, that was actually Creighton, the prosecutor. Creighton Waters, I think his name is. That was in a pretrial hearing when they were arguing about the whole alibi filing. And the defense was saying, well, they haven't even told us the time of the death, so you have to tell us when it was so we can say where we were during that time. Well, during that response, that's when he said, look, we have a video that shows he was there. So this whole alibi thing is a bunch of baloney. Let's see. And you can find actually, you know what you can do? Here's what I suggest. Let me go back here. Danielle Joyce, thank you for what you did yesterday. If you're over on the Facebook channel, she linked a Murdaugh Murders podcast episode that goes in depth on this alibi issue. And you'll get to see the video and the audio from that over there. So thank you very much, Danielle, for posting that over there on the Facebook side. Holly Henderson, Banfield did a piece on what Alex's life was like before and after each court day. Has to drive 90 minutes both ways. Time to plan and plot reactions. Lots of driving and thinking. Wait for it. It's in Maryland. Weather Watch wants to know where we're shopping. Let's see where it's at. Let's see. Lindsay. Heb. We're at Heb. Okay. I don't think they have the spicy maple bourbon pickles. You might have to find a second best or an also ran type of pickle. Either way, a statement like that isn't worth much. He can argue he felt responsible for what was done to them by not being there to protect them or something. Yeah, Kayla, I agree 100% with this. We don't know what he was thinking in his head. He's obviously emotional at that point, and he was saying, he could say, I should have been a better father type thing, right? That could be an explanation, and that would go to sort of like to his credit, not to his detriment, if he can spin it that way. Court's expected to start 4 minutes ago, Natural Empress, so judge is just a wee bit late. There's a Snapchat rep on the witness list. Yeah, it's coming in. It's going to be great. Hopefully, we don't have to wait all the way to him to get it. We'll probably have first with the judges in the courtroom. Here we go. Hopefully, we'll hear about it, and then we'll get more and more evidence. The judge and his mug. We'll have to send him a mug as well. We have a lot of judges that need True Crime Addict mugs. Okay, I'm going to have to end it right here. Turn the audio up on 2. Just 1 second.
Bring the jury.
Okay, nothing before the jury comes in. Looks like different shirt. Is it a white shirt today for Alex? I didn't see that too clearly. Trying to do a 3-box feed where I can control all 3 boxes. So we can have multiple video sources here. So you give me a minute to get everything synced up this morning. First thing, they have a fire engine. Got to have some oatmeal first. ASMR while the jury comes in. Anybody?
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning, Your Honor.
Day number 8. State's case, you may continue.
Thank you, Your Honor. Lieutenant Duff.
So who's up on the stand? The same Lieutenant Duffy from before? Is that what he said?
Yes, sir.
Good morning, Lieutenant Duff.
Good morning.
All right. We were talking about Maggie's phone at the end of the evening last night, correct?
Yes, sir, we were.
Before we move on, I want to cover just a couple more quick things, and then we'll move on. I'm going to show you State's Exhibit 283 again, and this was the detailed timeline for Maggie's phone, correct?
Yes, sir.
And I'm going to flip to
Hey, Mary, we're going to try. It just depends what's happening. If it's the middle of a Snapchat video, I'm not going to cut away from it, but I'll try to keep an eye on that. If you guys are monitoring that, let me know. I'll try to pull it up for that.
Susan Blankenship just sent a super sticker with 5.
Okay, line 4529. Take a look at 4529, please.
Thank you, Susan. Appreciate it. It's a
Yes,
fox
sir.
doing karate, I think. It was a super sticker. Looks great. Appreciate the support. It is. It's 9:38 here in South Carolina and North Carolina, where I am.
Can you read 4529 on the screen? Probably needs adjustment, excuse. It's at the bottom, very bottom. Okay, can you read that, sir?
Yes, sir, I can.
And this is a log entry, correct?
Yes, sir. This appears to be a log entry from the data usage SQLite database.
The jury's just to the right of the image here.
And in the far right column there, what does that say?
In the far right column, as I look at it, it says com.apple.datausage.findmyiphone. And then it's got Wi-Fi in 0, Wi-Fi out 0.
Okay. And what time did that data entry occur on Maggie's phone?
That data usage entry occurred at 10:05:13 p.m.
Okay. And what does that tell you, in your opinion?
That in the background, Find My iPhone was using data on the phone.
Okay. Does this information or any information you've looked at in your investigation tell you exactly why the data be used at that time?
No, sir. It could have just been a background app that was running that had been open from previously in the day.
Could it have been that Find My iPhone being triggered from elsewhere?
It could have been.
Okay. But you can't tell for certain with in your opinion?
No, sir. I cannot tell if it was running in the background or if somebody was accessing it.
Okay. Thank you.
Lindsay, I found this out yesterday. They're not allowed to take notes in South Carolina.
And again, referencing Maggie's
They're
phone.
prohibited from taking notes, is what I heard. It's all going to be in their head.
What we've not talked about yet is any location data or any location points from that night. Have we?
No, sir.
All right. And in fact, in your analysis of her phone, at least for the night in question, did you discover any precise GPS location points?
From which there are several different databases that location information would be from. From the cache database, I didn't find anything for that night. It looks like previously from the examination that she'd used a map to go to an appointment or to a location, and that information was obtained.
Okay, and that was from the afternoon, correct?
Yes, sir, that was from earlier in the day.
All right.
That's
At
when
least
she
in
went and
terms
got
of
her
precise
nails done, I
GPS
think.
location for that night, your investigation didn't find any on her phone, correct?
No, sir.
And I'm going to show you, again, I'll put it up on the screen. This is in evidence, states 275. All right, and this is, we talked about this yesterday, but this is Maggie's location services, correct?
Yes, sir, correct.
And what did we talk about for the majority of apps we see on the screen? How are location settings set?
For the ones pictured on the screen, the majority of them are set to while using.
And so in your opinion, knowing that and knowing what you've investigated in her database, why don't we see a lot of location data on her phone for the night in question?
It could have been from those apps not being accessed. It whether running in the background from previous in the day or not being cleared out or not started at a particular time of that day.
So Maggie's phone was not continuously recording location information, correct?
Not from the apps in the cache database it was.
But you don't have anything in that cache database, correct?
Not from that day, no, sir.
Because while she's out at Moselle, would she have been using her map to navigate?
No, sir.
Okay. All right. So her phone was fairly well locked down when it came to location, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. All right, we'll move on. I'm going to show you, which has been marked for this has been marked.
Toxic. I wash mine in the
as
dishwasher all the
states
time, and I've had
285.
no problems. I've got 3 of them. Not a single problem.
I'm going to ask you to take a look at this, please.
You can microwave them too if you don't have a kettle.
All right. And what is that item, sir?
This item is an Apple iPhone. It was submitted to me with a SIM card and a black case on it
When was it submitted to you?
in September of 2021.
And have you had an opportunity to examine that phone?
Yes, sir, I have.
Is this Paul's iPhone?
And in your examination, were you able to determine who owns that phone?
Vic's no
Yes,
purple
sir.
yet.
According to the account
Working on it.
information I obtained from that phone, it belongs to Alex Murdaugh.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Your Honor, at this time, State would move Exhibit 285 into evidence.
Admitted.
That's quite the crowd there today. That's very full.
All right. I'm gonna show you State's, what's been pre-marked as State's Exhibit 286. And you might need to open up the box to take a look at it.
I was listening to another show last night, and somebody in the courtroom. Oh my goodness, why does his name escape me? You guys who saw me there, who was it that was describing the jury? I think one of them is like an 18 to 25-year-old. He says a lot of them appear to be affluent, mostly women.
All right. And if you take a look at it, I'm sorry.
Yes, sir, I did.
All right. And what is that inside that box?
Inside this box is a portable solid-state external drive that I received and placed a copy of the Celebrite extraction from Alex Murdaugh's phone.
Okay. And so in your examination of Alex's phone, you did a extraction, correct?
Yes, sir, I did a full file system extraction.
Okay. Using what software?
I used GrayKey to collect the extraction. Then I processed it and decoded it through Celebrite Physical Analyzer and also Axiom by Magnet Forensics.
And you then placed a full copy of the Celebrite report on that hard drive, correct?
Minus several things. Due to the fact that Mr. Murdaugh is an attorney, there was a privilege review done. So I was only able to put on there things that were not removed by our attorney for taint purposes.
All right. And SLED had an attorney who did a privilege review, correct?
Yes, sir, they did.
And several things were removed, several communications were removed, correct?
Yes, sir. It's my understanding they were removed for attorney-client privilege.
All right. And obviously, because you aren't part of the privilege review, you don't know exactly what was removed.
Correct.
However, when it comes to Alex's call log, did you consult with the SLED attorney to determine whether any items were removed from Alex's call log?
Correct. None of the calls were removed. It mainly consisted of text messaging, emails, things of that nature that would actually be the communication, not calls.
And at this time, State would move to enter Exhibit 286 in evidence.
Admitted without objection.
All right. And I'm going to show you Exhibit 287. Take a look at that, sir.
Okay.
You recognize
James
that?
from the court.
Yes, sir, I do. This is
How
a
could I forget
copy
James?
of the Celebrate extraction from Alex Murdaugh's phone that just contained call logs. The date filter was placed on this report for May 1st, 2021 to June 30th, 2021.
Sorry, Charlie, I know you don't like that part. Some people are curious about just the makeup of the jury. If you are curious, James from the court last night did a live stream.
Move
Did
to
you have a
enter
lot of that
Exhibit
information?
287 into evidence.
No objection.
Submitted without objection.
All right, let's take a look at Alex's call logs. Your Honor, I don't know if this defense has an objection, but state would have moved to place this under seal to protect phone numbers that might appear.
No objection.
All right. And if we could remove the screen to the audience, please.
Can you imagine how many reporters would be calling those numbers if this wasn't sealed? They'd be calling every single one of his clients. What do you think? What's your take on this? What was the last time you talked to Alex? I haven't seen Nancy in the court yet. I haven't been looking closely either, though. Nancy Grace.
For the privacy of the phone numbers on there, it's under seal.
She's just famous, JoJo, in the whole court analysis world. I think she might be back there, sort of in the same place she was before. Something looks like her.
Okay.
Regular seat, yeah.
And I'm going to show this exhibit, and let's take a look at line 39. 39, can you see that?
No, sir, I cannot.
All right. There we go. That should do it. All right, can you see line 39?
Yes, sir, I can.
Okay. And what is that?
It appears to be a call that was received on 5/30/2021 at 5:25 p.m. and answered. Looks like a FaceTime call.
Okay. And that was on May 30th, correct?
Yes, sir.
All right. Let's look at line 38 and 37. What are those?
Line 38 and 37 are both calls. They show outgoing as far as the number, that phone dialed to another number on June 4th, 2021. The first one on line 38 is at 3:41:34 p.m. Shows not answered as a FaceTime call. And on line 37, the time on that call, the same individual was 4:35:56 p.m. It shows not answered as a FaceTime call.
Okay. Let's look at line 36. What is that?
Line 36 is a telephone call that was placed by this phone. It was outgoing is the direction. It was placed on June 7th, 2021 at 10:25:49 p.m. It shows not answered. It shows a FaceTime call.
Wait a minute. So we have a call from June 4th, correct?
Yes, sir.
And then another call at 10:25. It's June 7th, the night of the murders, correct?
Yes, sir.
But you testified yesterday on Maggie's phone, you saw several incoming calls beginning at about 9:02, correct?
Yes, sir, I did.
And are those calls in this call log on Alex's phone?
No, sir, they are not.
All right. Let's talk about data that's restored or retained on phones. And we talked a little about SQLite databases yesterday, correct?
Yes, sir.
And the SQLite databases, for the most part, tend to keep information for only certain periods of time, correct?
Yes, sir.
Now, is a call log, a phone call log, that type of database?
It's a different style of database. It's not recording information as quickly as, say, orientation changes or GPS location stuff, because you don't place calls constantly every day, every 2 minutes or more. If you did, then you would see it get overwritten and taken out the older stuff as new stuff comes in. But people don't make calls that much. So for that reason, it lasts longer in there.
Okay. So the call log lasts longer than other types of information on a phone, correct?
Yes, sir. Typically it does, just because that's not used as often.
And as a call log builds up, it might eventually, old calls might eventually drop off, correct?
Yes, sir. Older calls will drop off.
All right. But that would be a pretty, with a phone's available memory, that would be a pretty long list before they started to drop off, correct?
Yes, sir.
And here we see just simply a gap. We see calls from May of 2021, and then there's a couple calls on June 4th of 2021, and then nothing until 10:25 p.m. the night of the murders, correct?
Yes, sir, correct.
Is that, can the database simply overriding itself explain that gap?
A gap like that would indicate that it was actually removed from there.
Okay. So if a call log were to fill up and start overriding itself, it would overwrite the oldest items first, you just said, correct?
Yes, sir. It's a standard thing with databases like that. Usually the, first in is going to be the first out.
Okay. And here, we see older calls from May, correct?
Yes, sir.
And then calls, a couple calls in June 4th, and then 10:25 p.m., we start to see calls again, correct?
Yes, sir.
And that gap, when you say removed a second ago, how can those calls be removed to create such a gap?
For a call to be removed, you can go in and very easily go to your call log if you chose to, and you can swipe it. If you move it to the left, that number, it'll pop up red on the right-hand side and say delete. And if you choose to delete that call, you could do that same way you could with text messaging, voicemails, other things that you have access to, user access to.
Is there any way, other than that, what you just described, that you're aware of, that could, any process that could explain that gap in call records on Alex's phone?
No, sir.
So those calls were deleted, correct?
It would appear that way from based off of looking at the reports and the examination of the phone.
And one last question about that. In the far right column of these calls, we see source FaceTime. What does that mean?
It was a FaceTime call using the iPhone versus dialing the number.
Okay. And when you pulled this report, if there were normal phone calls, would they have simply been left out? Is that possible?
I pulled it for all call logs, so it should have pulled any regular calls also, along with the FaceTime.
Okay.
Lindsay, he scratched his head a little bit after that one.
And I got it in September of 2021.
Okay.
Okay, I've got to pause.
So that was a full 3 months after.
I've got to pause for 15 seconds.
Approximately a full 3 months
all my
after.
other feeds. Otherwise, we only get one video today.
Yes, sir.
So can you testify today of when you think those calls were removed with any information?
No, sir, I cannot.
Alex wants his living son to be a lawyer.
Between when those calls were placed on the night of June 7th and when you got the phone in September, those calls disappeared off that phone, correct?
Those calls are not on the phone anymore. How it happened, I don't know.
Okay. Did you do anything in your investigation, in your extraction or analysis to potentially remove those calls?
No, sir, I did not.
Thanks, Bob. Have a great day. Glad we could be with you on your commute.
I'm going to show you State's Exhibit 288.
Okay, I'm going to pause just for a second here. I have to pause just for a minute because we've got 3 different feeds coming in. I'm trying to use them to switch back and forth between different camera angles so I can show you guys reactions and things like that during the trial. But this one feed is 15 seconds ahead of the other. So there we go. I think we're good now. Now I can get them all matched up.
Okay. All right. Do you recognize that, sir?
Yes, sir. This is a copy of an Celebrite extraction report that was done for messages from Alex Murdaugh's phone.
Okay. All right. You prepared that report?
Yes, sir.
And that report is from the data contained on that hard drive from the full Celebrite report?
Yes, sir.
At this time, state can move to enter Exhibit 288 into evidence under seal. To protect phone numbers displayed on this.
Are you able to submit a redacted copy deleting the phone numbers at a later
please.
time for the record?
We could probably make that happen, Your Honor. It would probably take some manual work. But, I mean,
You've got enough guys.
We could do
You're just
that,
sitting
yeah.
there.
All right. You may proceed.
all right. I'm going to have you flip in this report, Lieutenant Dove. Previously, when we looked at Maggie's phone, you testified about a group text that occurred at approximately 8:31 p.m. that night, the night of June 7th.
Yes, sir.
I'm going to have you flip to those texts. Alex was a part of that group text message, correct?
Yes, sir, correct.
And specifically, we're looking for the text that occurred at 8:31 p.m. that night.
This is really interesting considering what he did with his phone. Apparently, he deleted the call log, and then considered that he tried to pick up Paul's phone while at the crime scene, and that Maggie's phone was then found, also disturbed. That this does not look good for him, I don't think.
Okay, I see it.
Okay, you see it.
Yes, sir.
Okay, and I'm going to show on this the text that arrived on Alex's phone at 8:31 p.m. Can you see that on your screen, sir?
Yes, sir, I can.
All right, and this is the same text that we saw on Maggie's phone, correct?
Yes, sir.
All right, and that arrived at what time?
It shows it arrived on June 7th, 2021 at 8:31 p.m.
Okay. And we're not going to go through the same read the list of individuals, but these are the same individuals that were in the group text we saw on Maggie's phone, correct?
Yes, sir, correct.
All right, and quickly read this text again. What does it say?
I plan to go over to visit Dad tomorrow afternoon. Is anyone else planning to go?
All right. And what time, date and time, was that text read on Alex's phone?
It shows read June 8th, 2021 at 1:44:49 p.m.
So that's the next day?
Yes, sir.
All right, and we're going to go to the next text in this thread. Can you read that?
Yes, sir, I can.
All right.
Buster hasn't shown any emotion in court, but you've got to realize he's been under extreme scrutiny since this all went down a couple of years ago. He's been in the public that whole time. So I think he's ready for this, as far as prepared emotionally and everything else.
Yes, sir, I can make out what the text says.
All right, and what time did this text arrive on Alex's phone?
The text arrives June 7th, 2021 at 8:31:47 p.m.
All right, and what's this text say again?
It says, "I'm in court all week," with an emoji.
All right, and that's the text from Lynn G?
Yes, sir.
All right, and when was that text read?
It was read on June 8th, 2021 at 1:44:49 p.m.
Okay.
I think we're still pretty early for a guilty, non-guilty poll.
So I'm going to go.
I'm still on the non-guilty side. Not that I don't think he did it, but I don't think the state's proven he's done it.
A little bit earlier in the day on those texts. The same text thread. All right, and what time, the text that you see on the screen, what time did it arrive on Alex's phone?
It arrived June 7th, 2021 at 4:48:23 p.m.
And just read the text for us again, or read the text for us, please.
It says, "Room 632. Nurse says we can alternate visits with only one person in at a time."
And who sent that text?
It looks like John Marvin Murdaugh.
I do want to hear this guy describe each emoji as well.
It shows read June 7th, 2021 at 5:10:32 p.m.
So that's within about 20 minutes. Is that roughly correct?
We're not to Snapchat yet.
Yes, sir.
These are texts, the group text. The whole family was on text here. Alex, Maggie, everybody, other family members. We're sort of talking about those right now.
Okay. And let's look at the next text in this same thread. What time did this text arrive on Alex's phone?
It arrived June 7th, 2021 at 4:48:48 p.m.
And what time was that text read?
It shows read June 7th, 2021 at 5:10:32 p.m.
So again, roughly about 20 minutes after it arrived on the phone, correct?
Yes, sir.
There's an idea. That would be the...
And I'm going to have you find this.
Give me all the options.
Yesterday you testified on Maggie's phone.
We can do that.
About a text that was from Alex at approximately 9:08:58. And I believe the text said something to the nature of, "I'm going to see M," or something like that. Can you find that text in this report, please?
Yes, sir, I did.
Unless something changes, we're not going to see any of the exhibits live in the courtroom. They've actually ordered that the camera systems be removed from the projector system, so there's no chance of it going up. So everything that is allowed to be released, that is not sealed, is released at the end of the day. And so we get this, a flood of pictures that we have to figure out which one he was looking at when. And they're not marked with the state's numbers and everything else that make it easy to match up with the actual feed. But you can find the important ones. It's a little frustrating, though. I wish we could see what they could see.
I've located the message.
All right.
He's going to have representation, right, Sharon?
Okay.
He's got an attorney.
And we see that text, and this was an outgoing text, correct, from Alex's phone?
Yes, sir. It shows the status is being sent.
All right. And what time was it sent?
It was sent on June 7th, 2021 at 9:08:58 p.m.
And read the text again.
It says, going to check on M, be right back.
We'll go to the text just after that, this thread. And this was another sent text, correct?
Yes, sir. The status is showing as a sent text.
All right. What time was this text sent?
It was sent on June 7th, 2021 at 9:47:23 p.m.
And what does the text say?
The text says, call me, babe.
That was after she died. Yeah, we need to draw all these together. We need dots and timelines and
I'm going to ask you to find
layers.
the text that Alex sent. I believe the contact is called Rogan at approximately 10:24 p.m. Can you find that for us, please?
Yes, sir.
That's what did it. Fall's flipped. He's guilty because he said "call me, babe" on the text. That's what a killer would say, right? I think we've got 3 weeks was the schedule.
Okay.
I had 5 in my head. I'm not sure. It might be 5, 3 or 5, but 3 I think is right. Tish has the best job in the world. She gets to do this and get paid for it.
Okay. What time was this text sent?
This text shows us sent on June 7th, 2021 at 10:24:43 p.m.
All right, and this was sent to Rogan, correct?
Yes, sir, correct.
And what does the text say?
It says, call me.
It's probably going to be between about 8:44 and 9:06 type thing. I think that's the time frame that we think the murders are. Somebody can correct me. I think that's, in my head, those are the times that are standing out.
I'm going to show you what's been marked as State's Exhibit 289. I'm going to ask if you recognize this.
Yes, sir. This is a Celebrite report that I prepared with timeline events for Alex Murdaugh's phone. The date filter was set for just the day of June 7th, 2021.
We've got a bad cable in the courtroom, and it's the cable on the feed for Alex. Let me see. I'll bring it on here and show you.
This time, State would move.
It's going to flicker and go black every time. I think somebody's stepping on the cable and there's a loose connection or something.
And State would ask that Exhibit 289 be under seal because there's some phone numbers displayed for privacy reasons.
No objection.
Okay. Now I'm going to show you what's been marked as State's Exhibit 290. Do you recognize that document, sir?
Yes, sir, I do.
And what is that document?
This is a copy of the Magnet Forensics Axiom report that I prepared for Alex Murdaugh's phone to show health database steps and movement.
Okay. At this time, State will move to enter Exhibit 290 into evidence. Does not need to be under seal.
No objection.
Admitted.
Okay. And we're going to start looking through steps first, so the screen can show this. This is Exhibit 290, and it's not under seal. Let's take a look at Record 16 and Record 17. Can you see those? Let's adjust it a little bit. Can you see those on your screen, sir?
Yes, sir, I can.
Okay. And Record 16, what does that indicate?
Record 16 indicates that the phone recorded 49 steps on June 7th, 2021, beginning time 6:02:51 p.m., ending time 6:07:33 p.m. the same day.
All right. And Record 17, what does that show?
Record 17 indicates that the phone recorded 173 steps on June 7th, 2021, beginning at 6:14:42 p.m. and ending at 6:23:46 p.m.
You testified yesterday about steps, correct?
Yes, sir.
And do you recall, in terms of our ability to rely on any of those steps, what you testified to?
Yes, sir.
And in your opinion, what is the reliability, what do these steps tell us? Excuse me.
It tells us that the phone recorded the steps. It's not 100% accurate as to that's how many steps were taken. It also will not tell where the start was, the stop was, as far as distances, anything like that, but it's not 100% accurate. It just says the phone recorded steps. It was in movement recording steps.
Okay. And generally, for a phone to record steps, what does that tell you? How does a phone, what kinds of motion can cause a phone to record steps?
Possibly somebody was holding it in their hand, somebody had it in their pocket, but they were moving, they were actually in motion. They were either walking, could be running, it would record the steps, but somebody's got the phone in movement versus putting it in your cup holder of your car and driving around. It's not going to record steps that way.
Okay. So in your opinion, if someone puts the phone in a car seat or in a cup holder and they drive, will the phone record steps?
No, it will not.
Let's look at Record 18 and 19. And adjust it a little bit here. There we go. Well, you can make out Record 18 at the top, correct?
Yes, sir, I can.
All right. And what does that show?
It shows that the phone recorded 57 steps taken on June 7th, 2021 at 6:42:12 p.m. beginning time, ending time 6:43:55 p.m.
Okay. Record 19, what does that show?
Record 19 shows that the phone recorded 283 steps beginning at June 7th, 2021 at 6:52:27 p.m. and ending at 7:02:05 p.m.
Let's look at Record 20. What does that show?
It shows the phone recorded 165 steps. Start time is June 7th, 2021 at 7:03:55 p.m. with an ending time of 7:11:29 p.m.
Let's go to Record 21. What does that say?
It shows that the phone recorded 200 steps. Start time is June 7th, 2021 at 7:15:35 p.m. Ending time of 7:21:52 p.m.
All right, Record 22. What does that say?
Record 22 shows that the phone recorded 47 steps. Start time is June 7th, 2021 at 7:28:35 p.m. Ending time 7:37:11 p.m.
All right, Record 23.
Record 23 shows the phone recorded 270 steps. Start time is June 7th, 2021 at 7:55:32 p.m. Ending time is 8:05:07 p.m.
Record 24, and it's cut off to the next page, but read what you can, and then I'll flip it.
The beginning of this record shows that the phone recorded 29 steps with a start time of June 7th, 2021 at
think he sleepwalks.
7:41:23 p.m.
All right, and let's finish record 24 there. When did those steps end?
Those steps ended for that record on June 7th, 2021 at 7:48:41 p.m.
So this is basically useless to the jury without notes. They're going to have to draw the connection here later.
Correct?
Yes, sir, correct.
The times that you're stating, those are correct.
Yes, sir, those are accurate.
And just because the steps here that were recorded at 7:48, according to your analysis, that's when those steps occurred, correct?
Yes, sir.
And the fact that it's listed in your report after steps that had occurred later doesn't mean those steps occurred later. Is that correct?
Correct.
All right. Let's look at record 25. What does that say?
Record 25 shows that the phone recorded 74 steps. Start time of June 7th, 2021 at 8:05:35 p.m. Ending time of 8:09:52 p.m.
Okay. All right. Record 26. What does that say?
Record 26 shows the phone recorded 283 steps with a start time of June 7th, 2021, 9:02:18 p.m. Ending time 9:06:47 p.m.
Okay. So, and I'll hand this report back to you, but we see an hour gap, approximately an hour gap between those steps that ended at 8:09 and when the steps start to occur again at 9:02, correct?
Correct.
And I'll hand you a report so you can flip through it because some of the things got out of order. Just to verify, do you see any
How did they get out of order, sir?
Between those two times, between 8:09 and 9:02?
No, sir, I do not.
And whose phone are we talking about again?
This phone was Alex Murdaugh's phone.
So, in your opinion, was this phone being moved around with or walked around with during that gap in time, according to the record or the analysis you've done?
No, sir, not in my opinion, based off my analysis.
All right, and I've previously entered State's Exhibit 289, which was the timeline for Alex's phone, correct?
Yes, sir, correct.
And let's talk about this timeline a little bit. So, what kind of information is found in this timeline on Alex's phone?
On this phone, it captured things like incoming text messages to show a log entry for it. It shows there's a log entry for images, steps. It's a little bit different the way Celebrate does steps versus Axiom, so it's a little bit different look to it. It also has text messages on here as they came in, and a few more log entries to show that text messages and that phone calls were being made and recorded in the log.
Do you see any orientation changes like we talked about on Maggie's phone in that report? Would it include it if there were?
Usually you don't see it in a timeline report like this. You would find it in the device events report. We would pull it separate.
Oh, have you, in your analysis, you've looked at the device events report, correct?
Yes, sir, I have.
All right. And during that same time frame, do you see any orientation movement or anything to suggest the phone's being handled, or does that data exist? I should ask that.
Which time frame exactly?
The device events. Did you find data from
We need the
night of
context.
murder on Alex's phone?
I'm hoping they provide that.
Earlier in the evening, I did. but there was a gap in time where I did not see it.
Okay. Well, we talked about some of these databases kind of going away after a certain period of time, correct?
Yes, sir.
And
I think that's when he said he was taking a nap, but he's going to appear on a video during that.
Correct?
Correct.
But generally speaking, most of these databases, the SQLite databases, how quickly do they turn over?
They can go from 2 days to 2 weeks to 45 days. It just depends.
Okay. And so when you performed your analysis on this phone, it was in September 2021, correct?
Yes, sir.
And so some of that information that's contained in those SQLite databases, would you expect to find it, some of that data in September that had been originally recorded in June of 2021?
No, sir. And if it showed anything, it wouldn't be accurate information. It would be remnants of it.
Okay. Because a lot of those databases overturn in a far shorter period of time between June and September, correct?
Yes, sir, correct.
And so, to sum up, Alex's phone, because you didn't analyze it until September, just simply doesn't contain as detailed data that you found on Maggie's phone, for example.
Correct, for that time frame of June.
Okay. For the time frame of June.
Hey, look who's back. Harpootlian made it to court for round 2. He's like, sorry, what did I miss?
Okay, and I'm going to show you, this is Exhibit 289, and this is under seal. All right, and
Okay.
we see
I'm not going to say this is the case, but
157 and 158 in this report, correct?
do you think he has a hangover?
What is line 157
It's
associated
just asking for a friend.
Line 157 is associated with a text message.
All right, and that's a text message we just talked about in Alex's text message report, correct?
Yes, sir, it shows as an incoming text message.
All right, and I believe you just testified that that text wasn't read until the next day, correct?
Yes, sir.
And there was a second text at and this is line 159, and there was a second text that you've already testified about. And what time was this text?
It shows that it was June 7th, 2021 at 8:31:47 p.m.
And again, according to the text message report, when was this text read?
The
I have
next
0
day,
steps
on June 8th,
for 8 hours a day.
All right, you just testified about the steps, and we can get the report back to you if you need to be refreshed. What time did Alex's phone start moving after that gap between 8:05 and 9:02?
It started moving at 9:02 after, there was that gap before, but it started at 9:02 recording steps again.
And those texts were not read at that time, correct?
Correct.
And we looked at a couple earlier texts in that thread, correct?
Yes, sir, correct.
Richard,
And those
oh my
texts have
goodness.
been read within 20 minutes, correct?
Yes, sir, approximately.
And in your analysis investigation, did you review other texts that might or might not be in that report that's in evidence to review Alex's habit of when he read text?
Yes, sir, I reviewed other texts.
All right, from the day of the murder?
From that day and previous days and days after.
And just in your general review, and I'm sure there's outliers, but what is Alex's general habit when he reads text?
Usually it could vary from anywhere from reading it within 5 minutes to 30 minutes, maybe 40 minutes, just depending. But it was generally within an hour's time it appeared that the texts were read.
And like I said, there's probably outliers, correct?
Yes, sir.
All right. But This particular thread we've been talking about with the group family thread, what was the topic they were talking about?
It was about his father being in the hospital.
Okay. And those texts weren't read till the next day, correct?
Correct.
All right. I am going to show you what's been marked for ID purposes. Item 274. Give me a second to find it. All right. And you recognize that item, sir?
Yes, sir, I do.
Okay. And what is that item?
This is an Apple iPhone that we received. Once the analysis was done, it has the account of Paul Murdaugh.
And when did you originally
Got
get
Paul's phone
that
now.
item? Receive that item?
I would have to refer to my notes for the actual day it was submitted.
Do you have them with you?
Yes, sir.
All right. Can you look at that, please?
Yes, sir.
Hey, Kane, we welcome trolls. You just have to be polite while you're here. I'm not sure if you're a troll or not. We do welcome opposing opinions. Just let's be
All right.
Let's be polite about it.
It was
We can have a good
August
talk.
13th, 2021.
Okay. And to the best of your recollection,
That's what we're
where had
waiting
the
for.
phone been,
This one has the video.
previous to you?
Previous to us, it was located
all started as
in
trolls.
Charleston County in their evidence area.
All right. And that was Paul McManigal, correct?
Yes, sir. It has his sticker on there that it was in his possession.
And to your knowledge, was he able to access Paul's phone?
Not that I'm aware of. I believe he might have gotten a little just surface information from it, but to my knowledge, he was not able to access it due to the passcode.
All right. The phone was locked, correct?
Yes, sir.
And when you got it in August of 21, was the phone still locked?
Yes, sir, it was.
And in August of 2021, did you have any tools available at SLED that would help you unlock that phone?
At that time, no, sir, it would not support that model and that iOS that was running on the system.
And these companies that develop software to access these phones, that software continuously updated, correct?
Yes, sir.
And that software isn't free, correct?
Correct.
And it's sort of like a game, isn't it? Apple, these companies discover an exploit on these phones that allow them to access it, correct?
Wish you could talk
Yes, sir.
without pacing.
And then Apple produces a software update that fixes that exploit, correct?
Correct.
And so it's kind of a continuous cycle of being able to access these phones and not, correct?
Yes, sir,
But
correct.
in August of 2021, you did not have the ability to access Paul's phone, correct?
No, sir, I did not.
All right. So let's fast forward to March of 2022. Did it come to your attention that a fellow law enforcement agency had recently acquired a tool that could potentially access Paul's phone?
Yes, sir. I spoke with John Van Houten of the United States Secret Service, and they believe they had the capabilities with the tools they had to obtain the passcode to this phone.
All right. And did you take that phone to Mr. Van Houten?
Yes, sir, I did.
All right. And approximately when was that again?
It was in March of 2022.
All right. And to your knowledge, was Mr. Van Houten successful in accessing Paul's phone?
Yes, sir. I received a phone call from Mr. Van Houten stating he was able to do an extraction on the phone and that we were preparing it to put on an external hard drive for me to bring back and do my analysis.
All right. And you received what type of file extraction from Mr. Van Houten?
It was a Celebrite file extraction.
All right. Well, do you recall if it was a full file extraction or a physical file extraction or logical?
It was a full file system extraction.
And when you got that full file system extraction from Mr. Van Houten, what did you do with it?
I processed it with Celebrite Physical Analyzer and also verified the information with Axiom by Magnet Forensics.
Okay.
This is Paul's
Your
phone.
Honor, at this time, state would move to enter Exhibit 274 into evidence.
Submitted.
Okay, I'm going to show you what's pre-marked as Exhibit 292, states 292, and you probably need to open a box. You recognize it.
Get some ASMR. It's probably a jump drive or a SSD. Does anyone else find it funny they put it back in the original packaging? They don't have,
Yes, sir,
have
I
their
do.
own little case for it.
This is an external hard drive. It's a portable solid-state drive that was provided to me to place the phone reports on for Paul Murdaugh's phone.
All right, and what does it contain?
It contains the Celebrite report for Paul Murdaugh's phone.
And that's a full Cellbrite report?
Yes, sir.
This time, state will move to enter Exhibit 292 in evidence.
Remove the previous objection.
They said renew the previous objection.
And you're entering the entire download or entire extraction.
The full Cellbrite report from the phone here.
And your objection is to the chain, not to the what's contained in it. Is that right? Okay, it's submitted.
Thank you.
Okay, got it in. Previous objection what had to do with the chain. They hadn't verified every link on the chain of custody.
All right, I'm going to hand
Goes to the
you
fungible,
what's
non-fungible
Exhibit
type thing. I
Take
think
a look
it's
at
all
it. Let us know if
wraps
you
into one
recognize
big
it.
argument.
Yes, sir, I do.
And what is that?
It appears to be my Celebrite report that I prepared for call logs from Paul Murdaugh's phone with a date filter set for June 5th, 2021 to June 7th, 2021.
Okay.
I agree. Let's try to focus on the trial today. There's the gun control talk. It will get us all in a tiff.
This time, state will move to
And it
enter
won't-
Exhibit 293.
and we'll miss all the good stuff. Let's focus on the trial today.
And this would need to be under seal, Your Honor, due to phone numbers and private information.
All right, you can substitute a redacted copy.
All right, and we're going to publish this, so this will be under seal.
We're going to give it a minute to sort of sort itself out in chat. I know some of you are behind a few seconds as you're watching.
And let's look at
I agree.
lines
Pickle's not politics, right?
5 and 6. What do you see there?
Although I encourage you to have the discussion
Lines
in
5
person
and 6
with people all the time.
show a phone call that
It
was
is a good
received
discussion
June
to have.
7th,
Just this is the wrong format
2021
for it.
at 8:32:10 p.m. It was rejected.
Okay. That call was not answered, correct?
Correct. It shows as incoming and rejected.
And we see a name. What is that name?
Robert Boyle?
And then that's line 5, correct?
Yes, sir.
And what is line 6 of the name?
It says Lucille Boyle.
Okay. And we encountered this with Maggie's phone. We have 2 different contacts because it's pulling from 2 different databases, correct?
Correct.
All right. And that number may be labeled as a different name in 2 different databases, correct?
Correct.
Okay, let's look above that. So lines 3 and 4. And what is that? What do those lines indicate?
Those lines show that the phone had an outgoing call that was placed June 7th, 2021 at 8:40:20 p.m. and it was answered.
Okay. And who's the contact name on that outgoing call?
Rogan Gibson.
And this is Paul's phone, correct?
Yes, sir, this is Paul's phone.
And this is data that was
Charlie.
stored on Paul's phone that you recovered in your investigation, correct, Blast?
It recorded that call as 4 minutes and 14 seconds.
Okay. And we see actually between line 3 and 4, a slight difference in that time. I believe line 4 says 4 minutes and 18 seconds. But your testimony, looking at this data, the correct length of the call is what?
It's 4 minutes and 14 seconds.
All right. Let's look above that to lines 1 and 2. What do we see there?
Lines 1 and 2 show an outgoing call on June 7th, 2021 at 8:34 p.m.
Okay. And what is that? Who is that call to?
That call shows to Rogan Gibson.
All right. And we see a source. What is that source for this call?
It is a FaceTime call.
All right. And how long did that call last?
Approximately 11 seconds.
And that was answered, correct?
Yes, sir, it shows as answered.
All right. And so if that call started at 8:44:34 and it lasted 11 seconds, when did that call end?
It would have ended at 8:44:45.
All right. And I see this is record number 1, correct?
Yes, sir.
All right. So this is the most recent call on Paul's phone, correct?
Yes, sir.
Were there ever any other outgoing calls made from Paul's phone?
No, sir, not that I found.
Were there ever any other calls that were answered, incoming calls that were answered on Paul's phone?
No, sir.
Okay, we need to sing Kumbaya real quick, everybody. Hugs all around. We're getting to the good part. This is Paul's phone. We're hoping to get Snapchat here. He's probably the next witness, I'm guessing, on Paul's phone. And then we get video,
All right, I'm
which we won't get to see till tonight.
As State's Exhibit
Which is killing me.
294.
Yes, sir.
And what is that?
This is a Cellbrite report that I pulled for text messages from Paul Murdaugh's phone.
Okay, so who are the attorneys down on the far end of the bench here? We hardly ever get to see them. I know the lady on the end is the one that made some faces in some of the pictures during the pretrial stuff. Are they all Murdaugh's defense? Because it seems like they're on a sort of a separate table.
All right. At this time, State will move to enter Exhibit 294 into evidence. And this State would ask that this be under seal. It will display phone call or phone numbers, and to protect privacy, the State would ask that it be placed under seal.
That copy can be submitted along with the original.
Okay.
Lindsay, that's an interesting thought. If Rogan's
Seal, I'm gonna
phone
publish
has images, still images from a FaceTime video call.
All right. I'm going to direct your attention to let's look at line 8 on this report. Or excuse me, that's line 3. Line 3. What does this entry say?
It's a text message that was received on this phone June 7th, 2021 at 8:48:39 p.m. Shows as an incoming text message.
All right, and who's it from, the contact name?
It's from Megan Kimbrell.
And what does the text message say?
It says, "Don't like watching sad movies."
Okay. And this was an incoming message to Paul's phone, correct?
Yes, sir, correct.
Does it indicate that this message was read?
Yes, sir, it shows as read June 7th, 2021 at 8:48:59 p.m.
Gonna turn up the volume just a little bit because he seems to be staying away from the microphones now.
And actually, let's look at line 4, which was just below line 3, excuse me.
So the witness is going to be a little loud. I think we're still talking about Paul's phone right now.
Can you see line 4?
Yes, sir, I can.
And what does this line, this entry indicate?
It indicates it's another text message that was received from the same sender, Megan Kimbrell.
Okay. And what does the text message say?
It says, "No, I need something happy."
All right. And this, what's the time on this text?
It shows the text is being received June 7th, 2021 at 8:48:29 p.m.
And what time, what is this text message read?
Yes. Yes, sir. It shows it's being read June 7th, 2021 at 8:48:59 p.m.
It's read right when it came in.
4, we put them both there. They were read at the same time, correct?
Yes, sir.
What time was that again?
It was 8:48:59 p.m.
On the night of June 7th, correct?
Yes, sir, correct.
All right, let's take a look at line 2. What does this record indicate, sir?
This indicates that a text message was received to this phone on June 7th, 2021 at 8:49:35 p.m.
Okay, so this is approximately how many seconds after those texts from Megan Kimbrell were read?
It
We can flip back if we need to.
Yes, sir, if you could, please.
What time are the texts from Megan Kimbrell read?
At 8:48:59 p.m.
And that text from Rogan arrived at what time?
It arrived at 8:49:35 p.m.
I'm going to put you on the spot again. Can you give us a rough or how many seconds between those two texts arriving on Paul's phone?
I would have to write that down if I tried to
Do you
word
have
the
a pen,
seconds.
something you could write with?
Yes, sir.
The jury's like, can we borrow it?
So the first time for Megan was 8. The texts from Megan were read at 8:48:59.
It's going to be prosecution that's going to tie this together. Hopefully not.
8:49:35.
Hopefully we don't have to wait all the way till close.
Approximately 36 seconds.
Maybe with an expert witness on something.
Text from Rogan ever read on Paul's phone?
No, sir. It shows the status is unread.
Ever.
Ever.
So when you got this phone download from Van Outen, that indicated that this text from Rogan was never read, correct?
Correct.
8:49:35.
Correct.
36 seconds earlier, there were two texts from Megan Kimbrell that were read, correct?
Correct.
This is better. This is the connecting the dots.
And we see one final text above that in line 1. What does line 1 indicate, sir?
Line 1 shows that it was an incoming text message from Rogan Gibson on 6/7/2021 at 9:58:35 p.m.
What does that text say?
Yo, Y-O.
Was that text ever read?
No, sir. The status is unread.
All right, and I'm going to dig back into your memory from yesterday, from Maggie's phone. Do you recall a text on Maggie's phone that was read at 8:49:27?
Yes, sir.
And I believe that was a text from Lynn G. in the group text thread, correct?
Correct.
All right, why don't you write that number down? 8:49:27.
Okay, he's having him write it down. This is good. Maybe he's going to start buttoning all this together and painting a picture for the jury.
That was a text from Lynn G. to the group thread about Randolph's health that was read at 8:49:27, correct?
Correct.
All right, and then we have here, line 2, a text from Rogan that was at 8:49:35, correct?
Correct.
How much time separates those two texts?
Approximately 8 seconds.
Okay. And that text from Rogan was never read, correct?
Correct.
In your investigation, you look at of when certain things occur, correct?
Yes, sir. Correct.
Things like battery status, correct?
Correct.
And at the time of these texts, what was Rogan's battery status? Do you recall?
Rogan's battery status or
excuse
Paul's?
Me, I'm sorry, Paul's.
Paul's battery state at that point was approximately 2%.
Okay, so that's a low battery state, correct?
Yes, sir.
And what was it when those texts?
That's a crime, by the way,
arrived
to
on
let your phone be that low.
It would have been between 2 and 3%.
Okay. And in your opinion, is there any reason that low battery state would have permitted Paul to read the text from Megan, but not from Rogan 36 seconds later?
No, sir.
And if he had read that text at 8:49:35, in your opinion, would the phone have logged that and recorded that event?
Yes, sir. It should have recorded it as a read status.
And that battery would not have prevented that phone from recording that text being read, correct?
Correct.
And in your investigation, we know you just testified Paul's phone was at 2% at approximately 8:49, correct?
Correct.
Did your investigation reveal that phone logged when that battery?
Yes, sir. At approximately 10:30.
Which is, roughly speaking, about how long after those texts arrived on Paul's phone?
Approximately 39 minutes for the last one.
Okay.
39 minutes for 2%? That's pretty good battery life.
Now, I'm sure this needs to be an expert opinion, but if a phone that is at 2% is used heavily, how long approximately would you expect that phone to last before it dies?
If it's being used heavily, text messaging, looking at videos, things of that nature that are going to put more strain on the battery, I would expect it to go to the point of being dead. I would imagine, and just kind of ballparking because I haven't done testing on this, but I would say 10 to 15 minutes max.
So a matter of minutes, correct?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, this is Paul's phone, not
sits
Alex's
there
phone. So
for,
Paul did not call
you say
911.
almost 39 minutes?
Yes, sir.
Actually, I'm sorry. Let's do that math again. If Paul's battery state at 8:49 is 2%, and it dies at 10:34, again, how many minutes is that approximately?
36. I'm
Okay.
sorry, I missubtracted.
Let me check the video feeds here just 1 second. I think we had just a hiccup. It seems to be fixed on my end,
I think we're
hopefully.
both suffering from some math phobia here, Lieutenant Dove. We're going to do that one more time. And we can write this down if we need to. And, us lawyers, we don't do math, so. 8:49, the battery's at 2%, correct?
Yes, sir.
And the phone dies at what time?
From the last text message or
Or
from?
what time does Paul's, just write down the time, what time does Paul's phone die?
At 10:34
All right.
PM.
And how much time is between approximately?
From the last text messaging received from Rogan?
8:49.
8:49, I'm sorry. I was going off the last time a message was received to the phone.
That's probably my fault.
At an hour and 35 minutes.
Okay, and I'm going to show you what's been marked as Exhibit 295.
Bite me, I think you might be right there. Billable hours, that math is very easy to do.
Okay.
Do you recognize that, sir?
Yes, sir. This is a copy of the Celebrate report I prepared for a timeline from Paul Murdaugh's phone.
Okay. And I noticed this is quite a bit thicker than some of the other reports that we've been through, correct?
Yes, sir, correct.
Why would that be?
That one also contains location information that was obtained from the cache SQLite database.
So there's a lot more data points on Alex's phone, correct?
There's a lot more on Paul's phone on that
Excuse me,
timeline.
Paul's phone, excuse me. At this time, state would move to enter Exhibit 295 into evidence.
Yeah, if your feed's blurry, hit refresh. It seems to be working on my end now.
And just what time frame again does that report span?
The time frame of this report, I began it at 6 p.m. on June 7th, 2021, and it ran through midnight on June 7th, 2021.
And just roughly speaking, if you were to print even 2 or 3 days worth of this information on Paul's phone, how many pages would you expect that report to be?
Several thousands of pages.
All right. And so this is just a couple hours.
Yes, sir.
You think Alex is looking weird, a little worried?
All right.
How many lawyers does it take to run an Elmo?
And Your Honor, there are some phone numbers contained on this report. So the state would move that it be sealed for privacy reasons.
Okay.
All right, and I'm just going to pull some examples here. And I'm looking at lines 325 through 329. What's the date range that you see there?
Beginning with 325, it's June 7th, 2021, 6:44:47 p.m. Going to line 329 is going to be June 7th, 2021 at 6:46 p.m.
So that's approximately 2 minutes of log entries, correct?
Yes, sir, a little bit less than 2 minutes.
Lines 325 and 326 and 327, what kind of entries are those?
I agree, Evan.
325, 326, and 327
This probably
are
surprised him quite a
location
bit.
data entries into the cached SQLite database.
Okay. And we see some numbers at the top there. I see a 32.83 and some other numbers and a minus 81.05, some other numbers. What do those numbers indicate?
They are latitude and longitude numbers.
Now, and we see 3 entries within almost seconds, correct?
Yes, sir.
So what does that tell you, generally speaking, about Paul's phone and his settings on whether his phone will record location data frequently or not?
It's recording it much more frequently, and every few seconds it's grabbing this information to this database.
Okay. And so is Paul's phone as locked down as Maggie's in comparison in regards to location?
It appears that it's collecting more data as far as location information than Maggie's phone did.
All right. And
So it's
then
probably
I'm
doing
gonna
that because of the
direct your
apps that
attention to
are on
line
it, right?
328 there. And what is that entry?
This is an entry from an application usage that shows it was in there, and I believe this application's related to Snapchat.
All right. And what does it actually say there?
It actually says com.toyopagroup.picaboo.
Dot Pickaboo?
Yes.
And you researched what that means?
Yes, sir, I did.
And you've discovered what?
That it's related to Snapchat.
Snapchat usage?
There it
Yes,
is.
sir.
Snapchat. Come on, come on, come on.
Ladies and gentlemen, we'll take a break now. If you go to the jury room, a break for about 10 minutes or so.
Okay. I'm so excited. Let's see. Paige Johnson trial will be televised in July. Mary, tell me a brief synopsis. What's Paige Johnson? Or who? What was the crime? What's the brief report on that one? Yeah, it's comfort break time, just a little bit. We've got a tiny bit of a buffer going on, probably because I'm running a couple more feeds than normal. If you're about 15 seconds delayed, you're probably not seeing any buffer. It just happens if you keep refreshing and get to up to the second time. But if you slow your feed point down for about 10 or 15 seconds, YouTube seems to sort it out. Sending all the data, it just has a hard time putting it in order quickly. Car insurance apps track us. Yes, and sometimes our car insurance rates are determined based on what that app tracks you doing. Let's see. What about Snapchat? Linda, we believe that Paul shot a video using Snapchat that will capture Alex and Maggie and Paul all down at the kennels at a time when Alex said he was taking a nap and he wasn't near the kennels. It'll also show him in clothing that may be different than what he was wearing later in the day. It'll just be interesting to see. I think Newman's just reading the room. Actually, he's been pretty good about that. Abby, yes, the state's already said they're going to show us this video, that they have a video. They had it a month or two ago, so they've still got it now. The back camera's out of focus. Might do a refresh on your side and then back it off a couple seconds. The Snapchat will only be under seal if it features phone numbers, information from people that aren't related, which I don't think it would, or something gory. And there's no way the Snapchat video captured the murder, because if they did, we would not be here right now. So it's probably just going to be, I think it will be released, probably later tonight. Yeah, Snapchat makes you think they disappear. That's why people send what they do, but they are able to be retrieved. Nothing ever disappears on the internet. I forgot who said it, but apparently there is a Snapchat representative who will be testifying, or at least is on the witness list. So that might be coming today as well. Paige Johnson. I can Google that. That's the trial you said is coming up. What were the dates on that one again? Take a quick peek at this one. Death and disappearance of Paige Johnson. You probably know it better by the defendant. Is this the stabbing? The 114 stabbings? Is that the one we're talking about? What just happened? Ivan just threw your phone for some reason. It only works if you're not caught on video during the nap, AJ. I think that's the problem. Lindsay, thanks so much for everything you do on the channel. You're amazing. Appreciate you. I dropped trial starts on the 13th. That's Judge Doro. His alibi filed with the court says I left to visit mom at 9 p.m., arrived at 9:20, stayed until 9:45, arrived home at 10, found them dead at 10:05. So that, I mean, that will work with the timeline of the video, but it doesn't work with his story saying he wasn't down by the kennels at all, that he was never there. If he's down at the kennels at 8:45, and they were dead by 9, that's no bueno. You would think that Alex would act so surprised about what is being put on the record, since the defense should also have this info during the discovery process. Am I correct? Yeah, they should have all this information, all the discovery. The way discovery works, basically everything that the state is going to use against you in trial, you have a right to see, as well as everything that the state is not going to use but could be used in your defense. That would, help you out in your case. If they discover that, they have to turn that over as well, even if they're not going to use it in court. So he should have all this. None of this should be news to him. Occasionally you'll get some witnesses that'll get up on the stand and they'll testify to something that they didn't know they were going to testify to. They're going to say something that they didn't say in the depositions, or had never told a police officer during an interview. And that gets exciting, because then it's news to everybody. We saw that in the Aaron Dean trial with Zion, when he got up on the stand and changed his testimony from what we'd heard before. Do you have her picture on your computer? Do you have her picture up on your computer? Sorry, I just closed it down. But there wasn't anything mentioned about stabbing. They believe she was burned. They only found partial remains in Claremont County. So, Mary, this is a different one than I was thinking of. I'm not familiar with this one. I didn't even see the name of the defendant on that article. It just said he was charged, but didn't have a name. What's the Snapchat video supposed to show? A happy family all together down at the kennels, 8:44 p.m., right before the murders. I think that's what it's going to show. I wonder if it'll show an argument. Will it show, Alex and Maggie upset about something, or, how that's going to happen? Antifreeze jury asked for various notes. Let's see. Antifreeze jury asked for various notes and reports to be sent back. Some granted, some denied. Yeah, we haven't called them the antifreeze jury for a long time. I think they're the pickle jury now, Gordon. How do you kill someone with an eyedropper? Bite me. In the eyedropper case, it's actually the eye drops that were the problem, and they were ingested, and a large quantity of them ingested. So it's death by Visine is sort of a better description. Don't drink Visine. Problem with cell phone culture is now if you don't have a phone on you, it's considered suspicious. Right, Mrs. R.A. is suspicious. She does not have a cell phone. She takes mine occasionally. I missed why everyone was facing the back or taking the face lock off their phones after yesterday's testimony. The face lock? I didn't hear that part either, not a drama llama. I'm not sure what that was about. Let's see if we get anything coming back here. Basically, everyone's throwing away their phones. They're all going back to a little flip phone without GPS, no smarts. Even that will track a remarkable amount of data from you, but it's a little bit more privacy. Jensen jury asked for police reports, autopsy report, and the psychiatrist report. Both state and defense said no to police, but yes to the other two. Why? Okay, this is frustrating. Why would they introduce evidence in a trial and then tell the jury, no, you can't have it? The whole purpose of introducing it is so the jury gets the information. Maybe somebody with a wiser legal mind than my own, can you answer that question? Why would the jury in the Jensen case, or why would the both sides say, no, you can't have the evidence? I can see one side saying no, if it really makes them look bad or something. But Creative B is here. Good to have you here, Debbie. The flip razor phone by Motorola was the best. The battery life was what was incredible. Bite me. Remember when you had a flip phone, a simple flip phone, and the battery lasted all week? I mean, you charged it on the weekend, but you didn't need to. That sort of thing. Those days are long gone. Any chance you'll cover the Memphis cops trial? That's going to be a ways out, and that one's going to be pretty politically charged too. Maybe too much so. We covered the protests. We'll have to see how this goes. First of all, I don't know if it will go to trial. I imagine at least one of them probably will. There is more news coming out and allegations in that. It's background history involving a possible connection prior to this incident. There's all sorts of stuff in there, but that might be a little too heavy for us politically. This was prior to the Times in his alibi statement. Murdaugh was on the Moselle property from sometime prior to 8:30 p.m. on June 7th, 2021, until a few minutes after 9 p.m. when he left to visit his mother. Right, we heard that statement this morning when we listened to the. I heard it this morning when I listened to a podcast, but let's see. The police reports weren't allowed because there was a lot of hearsay stuff contained that was not testified to. Okay, that makes sense, Christy. I can accept that answer. I wonder if they couldn't even redact him and then turn him in. Because it wasn't testified on. Thank you, everybody, for those clarifications. There were 93 pages, if this is the request, but only a few pages were actually used. I heard from the arguments yesterday. All right. Any plan to cover the Richard Allen trial from Indiana? Accused of murdering two girls while hiking on the abandoned railroad tracks. The Delphi case. I don't think that one's going to be broadcast. I don't think that'll be televised, My Dog Murray. Wouldn't there be other records to pull internet connection if someone else was on their connection at the time? Jennifer, give me a couple more details on that one. Internet records will have records probably on both ends, but you have to sort of show the connection. Crime is a crime. See nothing political about it. It's not that the crime is political. It's that the conversation around it is really heavy in the politics. Grumpy Cat, here's what I learned yesterday. Apparently in South Carolina, jurors can't take notes. That's a rule. They want the jurors to base their decisions off the actual evidence, not what they think they heard or what conclusions they've come to while they're thinking, type thing. They want the actual evidence, and then in the jury room, then you can do whatever you want, and then it all gets destroyed as far as your notes go in the jury room, but not during the trial, which is this must be miserable for them. There's no reason for them to be there while we catalog bullet casings that are found for 4 hours if you can't take notes. So if there was a person from the inside of their property, would it show who else was connected? You're talking about internet connections. There's going to be a log, say like on my router. My router keeps a log of all the connections and things that happen on my connection. And I can go back and see who did what, basically. So maybe they object to different parts being shown to the jury who's requesting the full document. I think I'm good on that, Adam. If someone else killed and their phone is connected to the internet, bam, there's your guy. Yeah, so you've got, say, somebody showing up on the Wi-Fi and it connects on their Wi-Fi, and it's like, why is this guy here at 8:59 p.m. type thing? And he shows up connected on the site. First of all, I think that the kennels probably didn't have an internet connection. It was cell phone only, so it would have to be GPS, and whether or not that information was collected, we're not sure. So I don't think their home internet would be a big factor on this one. No note taking is usually decided by judges. Doesn't the court record negate the need for notes? Well, Charlie, there's just a lot of stuff in the court record. I mean, think of the days of audio we've listened to in various different trials that, like, nothing of significance happened. It's just, there's a lot of little tiny things that really didn't add add substantially to the case. They have to wade through all that to find the bits, and the notes allow them to basically highlight things and say, oh, this part, this day, this witness, this statement, this had an impact. This, I think this is important. But now they'll have to. I think what the end result would be a longer deliberation than if they had notes. Longest 10 minutes ever. I don't follow the clown show in D.C., so I have no clue why cops breaking the law would be political, other than the government has refused to hold cops accountable. Douglas, I think the larger discussion about this event and around this event is what is heavily political. It's not the actual case itself. Correct, that's what I'm saying. Good point. Unless they have extenders on the property for internet, they could. They have the money. I mean, if they're dropping $10,000 on guns to shoot pigs, they've got money for an internet connection. I'll be writing stuff on my hands and wrists. Catla will be carving dates and times and numbers into her skin just so she can save the data. Yeah. With no notes, that would be miserable as a jury member. If you're taking notes, you might miss something as well. That's a flip side. If you're busy writing something, you're not really focused on what's happening at the moment. Unless they had their Wi-Fi password, they wouldn't be able to connect to the network. Yeah, most networks by default are secured at least to some degree, even if it's just a factory setting. Okay. Great points. We're ready for the judge to come back, though. Let's see. No action on any of the feeds yet. Still not believing they didn't have any security cameras. Bite me. I'm curious. Remind me where you're from. Like a city and suburb, countries, thing like that. Because this is interesting. I'll tell you. Yesterday, the police came to my house. They didn't knock on the door. I saw them, pull up to the driveway, and I walked out. And I'm like, "Hey, get off my lawn." No, I didn't do that. I said, "Hey, can I help you?" And it was actually, he was there just letting me know that there had been a theft of a trailer similar to the one that was on our property just a couple days ago. They weren't saying that I had stolen the trailer. They were worried that my trailer also might be stolen. And so they said, if you have any cameras or anything you could set up to watch this. And I didn't have any cameras. I didn't have a camera. I have a lot of cameras, but I didn't have any cameras aimed at that trailer. And so I did a quick little setup and rigged up a camera last night to watch that trailer, which didn't get stolen. Whoa. The bailiffs just yelled at everybody to shut up. Full courtroom. Bailiff does not like the noise. Refresh your screen, Murray. It should work. Nobody has security cameras in the sticks. There's a pool table out there. Hard to believe. No.
They bring the jury.
If they had cell phones and they've got a good cell phone connection, it just might not be something they needed. They're using their data plans. Douglas, I understand. I realize you've got a big interest on that. And I'll be interested to hear what you think about it as it goes on, even if we don't follow it. So I appreciate you sharing your thoughts with me down the road. Yeah, I had the neighbors actually across the street. I talked to them last night and just said, hey, I've helped them with their security cameras as far as getting them up and running. And I just said, hey, can you just confirm where the sight lines are for these 3 cameras I was of interest? Because he has some cameras that would cover the street, and I think that was good enough. Bad cop, good judge, says Adam. Yeah, Charlie, I think of the cameras they'd have, I'd be surprised if they didn't have trail cameras to capture stuff like that. Because the big hunters they're going to be watching for deer. They're going to be watching for big bucks. They're going to be watching for, a huge boar hog, or a new litter of piglets or something.
I'm going to circle back to what's already been admitted to States 294.
Oh, we're circling back.
And this is the text message report that you produced, sir?
Yes, sir.
And this is under seal. And we're just going to flesh out a little bit that text conversation with Megan Kimbrell.
I don't know if it was stolen from the property, though. It could have been
Just for a little more context.
somewhere else where he was.
Lines 10 and 11. Can you tell us what's indicated on those 2 records?
Yes, sir. On line 10, it shows that it was...
Actually, I'm sorry, let me stop you. Let's read line 11 just to keep it chronologically in order. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Michelle, not
Line
yet.
11.
We're getting close.
Line 11 shows that it was an incoming text message on June 7th, 2021 at 8:29:06 p.m. And the message says, "You didn't send me any movie recommendations."
And the contact associated with that incoming text?
It's from Megan Kimbrell.
Okay. And when was that text read?
It shows that it's being read on June 7th, 2021 at 8:29:17 p.m.
Okay. Within about 11 seconds of it arriving on Paul's phone?
Yes, sir.
All right. And let's look at the line above that, line 10.
Line 10 shows it as an outgoing text message from Paul Murdaugh to Megan Kimbrell that on June 7th, 2021 at 8:29:36.
Okay. And what does that text say?
It says, "Haha, I didn't have a good one."
And again, that's to Megan Kimbrell from Paul, correct?
Yes, sir.
Paul's
Correct.
phone. All right. Let's look at lines 9 and 8.
I think the deer stands are going to be a ways away from the house, though.
Line 8 indicate.
Line
Excuse me,
8.
I'm sorry, line 9. Line 9.
Line 9 indicates that it was a text message sent from Paul Murdaugh's phone to Megan Kimbrell on June 7th, 2021 at 8:29:48 p.m. And it says, "Wills may."
Will's what? I'm sorry?
Wills might.
And that was an outgoing text, correct?
Yes.
All right. And in line 8, what does that indicate?
Line 8 shows it as an incoming text message from Megan Kimbrell on June 7th, 2021 at 8:30:10 p.m. and it says, "OMG."
Did he say 8:30:10?
And that was an incoming text from Megan Kimbrell?
Yes.
And when was it read on Paul's phone?
It shows it as being read June 7th, 2021 at 8:13 p.m.
And just so the jury understands the context, those are text
those are
messages
seconds. Okay.
in the same conversation that they heard about from Megan Kimbrell, correct?
Yes, sir.
And just to refresh, so the circle's complete, let's look at lines 5 and 6 again. And line 6, is that a text that was sent or outgoing to Megan Kimbrell?
It shows it as an outgoing or sent text message.
All right. And what does that message say again?
It says, "Ha ha, kidding."
All right. And then line 5, what does that indicate?
Line 5 shows it as an outgoing or sent text message with a body or the text message saying, "Star was born is the move."
Okay.
Deer stand is
Now
a,
is it
it's a
8:48:05?
little room, usually
Yes,
elevated
sir.
platform that you hunt from. You wait for the deer
And
to
that
come
was
to you
now
and you
going
shoot
text
from the
from,
stand. So like
Paul,
up in the
correct?
trees sort
Yes,
of thing.
sir.
Or up in a clearing. It's one of the methods of hunting.
And then, well, we talked about these texts, but real quickly already, at line 4, at 8:49:29, is that an incoming text?
At 8:48:29, it's an incoming text message
From who?
from Megan Kimbrell.
All right, and that says again?
No, I need something happy.
All right, and then line 3, is that an outgoing or incoming text?
That is an incoming text message.
From who?
It's from Megan Kimbrell.
And what does that say again?
It says, don't like watching sad movies.
All right, and so those are both incoming texts, and when were those texts read again?
They were read on June 7th, 2021 at 8:48:59 p.m.
Okay.
Oh my
So
goodness.
going back to line 5,
Micah, thanks for having us on.
in your
Glad you
investigation,
can work from home and listen.
is this the last outgoing text from Paul's phone?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and that's at 8:48:05, correct?
So this is
Yes, sir.
Megan is saying, I don't want any sad movies. I need something happy. And she's texting him minutes before he's killed. Do you guys catch that little dichotomy?
Okay. A moment ago, we were discussing State's Exhibit 295, correct?
Yes, sir.
And this is the timeline report from Paul's phone, correct?
Yes, sir.
And that thick, how many hours again does that cover?
The gentleman in the middle on the left is the
I
State
set
Attorney
the
General.
timeline parameters beginning at 6
And he's
p.m.
up on the front row now.
On June 7th, 2021, to end at midnight on June 7th, 2021, but the timeline stops short of that.
Okay. What time does the timeline stop?
The timeline stops at 10:34:23 p.m.
Okay. And I think you previously testified about that time. What does that 10:34 p.m. Indicate to you? What happened at that time?
There was a power event.
This is
the
him.
phone had gone dead and turned off.
I believe he's the State Attorney General in South Carolina. He's the big guns they're bringing in. Notice, no
I'm gonna
lanyards.
show that. That's line 901. And that's the final log entry from June 7th, 2021,
He's
correct?
owning it, Adam.
Yes, sir, correct.
And you testified. What is your interpretation of that log entry?
When I looked at that, it was a power event where the phone had gone dead and or turned off because the battery life ran out.
And can you tell us can you tell for certain whether the phone was simply turned off or did the battery die?
It appears from what I looked at it, the battery died.
Okay. And that's line what again?
That is line 901.
All right. And so that means in this particular report, there's over 900 log entries, correct?
Correct, in just this report, yes, sir.
And we're not going to go through it line by line.
Thank you.
But I'm going to hand this back to you. I'm going to ask you some questions.
The State Attorney General is rocking that
previously
comb over.
discussed a
It
lot of
probably
what is
looks
contained in
better
this report is location
from
data.
his
Is that
vantage
correct?
point looking
Yes,
in the
sir.
mirror than it does
Now,
to us as he has
Did you
his head
personally
down.
take all those lat longs and plot them somewhere?
No, sir, I did not.
But you provided that location data to other law enforcement agents or agencies, correct?
Correct.
And specifically, to your knowledge, has it been provided to the FBI?
Yes, sir, it was provided to the FBI to do some mapping with the location data.
Okay. And do you recall who in the FBI did that?
I believe it was Agent Wild.
Okay. All right. But let's make some general observation on what you see in that timeline. We see a lot of location data. Take a few moments to look through that timeline and just in an overall picture.
Earlier in the
what
week,
is that
the
phone
AG was
generally
there,
used for?
like
What
in
is being
the
done on
gallery,
phone
like on the front
in a general
row.
impression?
But now he's up on the bench.
It appears that on this phone, based
Not on
off
the
of this
bench, but on the
timeline,
attorney
that
room.
there are calls being made, text messaging being done, Snapchats being utilized, social media type things with Snapchat, and the text messaging and calls.
And when you look at that usage, would you say it's sporadic or almost continuous?
It's a lot of continuous usage. Like I said, I pulled it from 6 p.m. and it ends at 10:34. So in the matter of about 4.5 hours, it's over 900 entries on here.
Okay.
South Carolina's Attorney General is Alan Wilson.
I'm going to direct you to time.
He's been there since 2010.
And you can take
Re-elected
a moment
in
to find
2014.
it. 8:44
Then a third
p.m.
term in 2018.
And I want to see if you can find, I believe there's an entry for the camera.
He doesn't have to be there.
A little after
He's basically
8:44.
just the top dog when it comes to
Some
prosecutions in the state of South Carolina. So there's no bigger name in prosecutors down there.
Yes, sir.
He's the boss.
And
He's
what's
elected.
the
though.
exact time on that you see?
It says 8:44:49 p.m. on June 7th, 2021.
Actually, so what does that camera, we'll show this in a moment. What does that entry indicate to you?
Lindsay, I believe he's on the witness list
The camera
too.
was being utilized.
With Justin
It was
is on the
application
witness list. Someone
usage,
can
so
confirm
the
that,
camera was
but,
being utilized, or beginning to be utilized at that
The
point.
camera was turned on?
Is he the one that represented
Yes.
the
And I want you to look at the next page, or maybe the page after.
the housekeeper's
And see if you can find a
estate?
corresponding log entry that would show that the camera was turned off.
Yes, the camera shows it was turned off at 8:47 p.m. on June 7th, 2021.
Okay. Let's show this to the jury if you will.
He's just going to wave the whole book at the jury. Or he's going to put it in the Elmo. Okay. We're getting closer. We're showing the camera being turned on and turned off. We're getting very close to... Is that a bobby pin in his comb over?
And I believe what you're referencing, can you see that? Sir?
He looks younger on his
Yes, sir.
And that is
on his website.
line 820. Do you see that?
Yes, sir, I did.
And we see a 8:44:49, and that's a start time, correct?
Yes, sir.
And we see the camera turn on, correct?
It shows the camera with the application usage log shows camera. Yes, sir.
Okay. And then below that, at line 822, we see some location data. Is that correct?
Yes, sir, that's correct.
And I know you didn't plot every point on this report. Did you plot that particular point?
Yes, sir.
And where did that, where was that location?
It was located near a red roofed building on the property on Bozell Road.
Okay.
Matthew says YouTube made him late, but he's here now. Good to have you, Matthew Harris. It's going to be a fun
why
day.
don't you write that
We're
time
about to
down again?
see some video, I think,
it was-
or at least
I'm
the
sorry.
jury is,
At
that
line
might put
820.
Alex at the murder
Write that
scene
time.
just before the murders, even though he says he wasn't
8:44:49.
there.
You got it?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Let's look at line 828. What do you see there, sir?
That shows the end time for the camera at 8:47 p.m.
I have so many
Write
questions
that
about
time
this
down.
video. Where were they? I mean, was it like seconds after the video stopped that they were shot? Are they like standing almost in
know
the
what's coming.
position they were when they were shot?
Yes, sir.
How long was that camera on?
That camera went, 1 second, let me carry that.
Carry the 1, 9, 10, 11, 12.
It went for less than a minute,
Okay.
about 50 seconds roughly.
Okay.
This witness did not take this job because he thought he'd be doing math on the witness stand. And I've talked to some of you who have been here in this position. As a matter of fact, yesterday. I'm not going to out you,
Look through it
but
and see if you can form an opinion.
let me give a pause here.
Starting at, remember the text series we just went through with Megan Kimbrell and the text from Rogan at 8:49:35?
Yes, sir.
Why don't you flip in that report to basically at 8:49?
The pressure this witness is under to answer correctly and be precise and exact and to get everything right is super high. And he has all his facts in a row. And he's probably wasn't expected to be asked to do math.
I have it.
So even simple math under that pressure
starting with
is not easy.
the outgoing text to Megan, or excuse me, with the red text from Megan, which were read at 8, I believe, 48:59. Why don't you go ahead and review the rest of that report? And I want you to tell this jury whether you see anything in that report that would indicate to you that that phone is being actively used by a human being.
I like that, Gavel Hounds. That's a good name.
No, sir, I do not.
Okay. And you previously testified that Paul's battery was at 2% at approximately 8:49 p.m., correct?
Yes, sir.
But you testified that the battery actually didn't die until 10:34, correct?
Yes, sir, correct.
Almost a little over an hour and a half later, correct?
Yes, sir.
And would that indicate to you, in your opinion, that that phone did anything except for some potential minor movements than just sit in a single location that entire time?
Correct. I see no other movement on there, recorded steps or applications being used such as social media.
Which brings me to this. I'll show you State's Exhibit 296. Let's see if you recognize this. Sir.
Okay, this might be the best thing the state has to a gotcha. A smoking gun.
Yes, sir, I do.
Clear evidence. Let's see how they present it.
And what is that?
This is an Axiom report that I prepared from Magnet Forensics, recording the health database for Paul's phone.
State is moved to enter Exhibit 296.
Objection, Your Honor.
Could try to do a
This
switch
will not
or
be
live.
necessary.
Hang on.
Can I see it?
Alex moved. Got to recrop the box around him. Sorry. Get him off the judge's chair too. There we go. But just want to keep an eye on Alex here as this is going on. Great idea, Carl. Thank you for that.
All right. So, let's look at a few of these.
Sorry, I disappeared. Did Dick disappear too?
Okay, I'm going to show you.
What if he's not feeling well?
Record 43 and 44. Do you see those, sir?
Yes, sir, I can.
All right. And what do those two records indicate? Let's try to keep it chronological. So start with 43.
43 shows that the phone recorded 105 steps. Starting time was June 7th, 2021 at 6:54:21 p.m. Ending time is 7:03:49 p.m.
All right. And record 44, what does that indicate?
Record 44 shows that the phone recorded 208 steps. Start time of June 7th, 2021 at 7:14:13 p.m. Ending at 7:22:19 p.m.
All right. Record 45, what does that indicate?
Record 45 shows steps recorded on the phone of 139 starting June 7th, 2021 at 7:25:03 p.m. and ending at 7:34:47 p.m.
Record 46, what does that indicate?
Record 46 shows the phone recorded steps of 171 beginning June 7th, 2021 at 7:35:10 p.m. and ending at 7:41:43 p.m.
Record 47, what does that indicate?
Record 47 shows steps recorded on the phone of 89 beginning June 7th, 2021 at 7:45:27 p.m. and ending at 7:55:11 p.m.
All right, can you see record 48?
Yes, sir.
He looks very
It says
interested in
steps
this.
were recorded on the phone of 140. Start time is June 7th, 2021 at 8:55 p.m. and ending at 8:21:45 p.m.
Okay. Record 49. What does that say?
Record 49 indicates that 283 steps were recorded by the phone beginning June 7th, 2021 at 8:32:25 p.m. and ending at 8:42:11 p.m.
Hey, Becky, we're getting to the good stuff here. We know about a Snapchat video where the timelines are really narrowing down. This is going to be fun.
All right, and there's a couple entries after this, but chronologically, I'm going to have you review this. They occurred prior to 8:42, correct?
Yes, sir, they do.
All right, and we'll show those to the jury real quick. All right, record 50 and 51, what times did those steps occur at? Excuse me.
Record 50, the time started was June 7th, 2021 at 8:05:46 p.m. and ending at 8:15:24 p.m. Record 51 shows starting time of June 7th, 2021 at 7:55:44 p.m. and ending at 8:05:28 p.m.
AJ, you're right. We'll hear it described, though.
Events occurred prior to record 49, correct?
Yes, sir, correct.
We'll go back to record 49. I'm going to hand the report back to you. As you testified, those steps ended at 8:42 and 11 p.m., correct? Record 49.
Yes, sir, correct. They ended at 8:42:11 p.m.
All right, and I'll give you a moment to review your report if you'd like. Did any other steps, were any other steps recorded on Paul's phone after 8:42:11 p.m.?
This is more interesting to me as we get right around the time of death. I know there's a ton of data on here, but right as we get to the time of death, these numbers become very important, especially if we have a video that occurs with Murdaugh there right at that time. I mean, that's almost a smoking gun. It's close. Let's see what the video has, though.
No, sir, I did not see any that were out of order.
So after 8:42:11 p.m., did Paul's phone move it to any significant degree, in your opinion? Or was it walked anywhere to any significant degree, in your opinion?
In my opinion, I did not see any steps recorded on the phone, so it was not in motion or somebody moving it or holding it and moving.
Now, you testified that the steps aren't necessarily 100% accurate, correct?
Correct.
So is it possible the phone moved a short distance during that time, correct?
Correct.
And a few steps may or may not have been recorded if the phone had been moved after 8:42:11, correct?
Correct, it's possible.
But in your opinion, was that phone walked anywhere, any significant amount of distance?
No, sir, I did not see any recordings of that.
And it's tough to quantify significant, isn't it?
Yes, sir, it is.
And I'm not going to ask you to give us a precise number, because do you know a precise number?
No, sir, I do not.
But in your opinion, can that phone move a short distance and not record steps?
Yes, sir, since It's not 100% accurate. You may have one or two steps that don't get recorded. Usually if it's a large amount of steps, if you're 15, 20, 30 steps, it's going to record that.
Okay. All right. We're getting to the end here, to the go. One quick thing I want to go back and cover. Let's talk about Maggie's phone real quick. And you previously testified that you saw that orientation change on Maggie's phone between 9:06, it starts at 9:06:12 p.m., correct?
Yes, sir.
And it ends at 9:06:20 p.m., correct?
Yes, sir.
All right. And that indicated, you previously testified, that someone had that phone in their hands during that time, correct?
Yes, sir.
However, you also testified that there is one other possibility that could explain how a orientation change could record on a phone, correct?
Yes, sir. If it fell like down steps or something like that, it was on.
Okay. And you also, I believe, testified that if a phone tumbles end over end in some way, that could potentially record orientation change, correct?
Yes, sir. If the phone's on and.
Don't leave the witness.
If a phone falls and tumbles end over end, could it potentially record an orientation change?
If the phone is on and unlocked, it can record the orientation change.
If the phone is thrown and tumbles end over end, could it record an orientation change?
It would be hard to do if it's off. If the screen display is off and it's not unlocked, it would be hard to record that.
In theory, it is possible.
In theory, I'm sure it's possible, yes, sir.
And in your opinion, is that likely?
Usually when phones, if you're holding a phone, you take your phone, unless you move it, if you take your phone and it's sideways and you lay it down on the table, it's not going to record an orientation change. If it's in portrait mode and you set it straight down and don't turn it over the end, it's not going to record the change. But it is possible.
In your opinion, if someone throws a phone with no other manipulation, could it be thrown a short distance without recording an orientation change?
Yes.
All right. Now, one thing we haven't talked about with Maggie and Alex's phone is one other review you've done to these phones is those phones have a lot of photographs and videos on them, correct?
Yes, sir, correct.
And you've reviewed, I don't know if you've reviewed them all, but have you reviewed a substantial portion of them?
Yes, sir.
All right. And did you find anything on Maggie or Alex's phone that was relevant to the investigation on, at least on June 7th of 2021?
Yes, sir, I did.
On Maggie or Alex's phone?
Oh, I'm sorry. No, not on Maggie or Alex's phone.
Okay. At least in relation to the events of that night, was there anything recorded on Maggie or Alex's phone that was relevant that you found?
As far as video recordings or photograph recordings, no.
Okay. All right. Paul's phone, did you conduct a similar review?
Yes, sir, I did.
And did you find anything that you consider relevant to what occurred on the night of June 7th at Mozilla?
Yes, sir, I did.
Okay. And in fact, we've already referenced it, haven't we?
Yes, sir.
When we looked at Paul's timeline, we saw an entry of Paul's camera coming on, correct?
Yes, sir.
And I think you wrote the time down, but if you can't find it, we can get the report out again. But what time did that camera come on?
At 8:44:49.
Okay. And how long was that video again?
It was roughly 50 seconds.
And when did that video end?
At 8:45:47.
And you're certain about that?
Yes, sir.
This is what we're talking about.
Because I reviewed the video for looking at the length of the video. It compared it to the length of the camera time that was on. Also, too, there was data recorded in the video because it was taken with the phone that had GPS coordinates along with a description of the phone that took it.
Okay. And you're telling this jury today that you're certain that that is when that video was recorded on Paul's phone?
Yes, sir.
Here we go.
And as we referenced, when
He's
we're
holding
looking at
a
that
disc.
timeline, there's location data associated with that video as well, correct?
Yes, sir, correct.
All right. And where did you plot that location data?
It plotted to Moselle Road to near a building that had a red roof on it.
Okay. I'm going to show you what's been marked as State's Exhibit 297.
297. I think this is the one we want.
You recognize that, sir?
Yes, sir, I do.
What is that?
It is a CD that contains a video. On it, it says Kennel Video, has States 297 on there, along with my initials and the date of 1/30/23.
And have you reviewed the contents of that CD?
Yes, sir, I have.
And what is the contents of that CD?
It is a video I found on Paul Murdaugh's phone. The video looks like inside maybe a kenneled area with a fence around it and a dog, I believe to be a lab, where he's trying to take a video of the tail of the dog.
Okay. All right. And that's what you see in that video.
Yes, sir.
What do you hear in the video?
You hear 3 different voices in the video. You can tell because they're so different, you can tell that they're different voices.
All right. Now, are any of those voices known personally to you?
No, sir, they are not.
Okay. This time, State would move to enter Exhibit 297 into evidence.
Previous objection.
Submitted over objection.
All right. And at this time, State's going to publish that video. It is not under seal.
It's not under seal. Those are the words I'm waiting for. We're getting it tonight. The camera's actually going to pan away so it won't show up on the screen that you see there, the curved monitor. It will show up on there, but the camera will turn away.
Get it. Get that.
That's all we can see.
Quick, Cash. Come on. Quick. It's okay. Come here. Come here, Cash. Post it. Get it.
Hey, he's got a bird in his mouth.
Hey, brother.
It's a guinea.
There's a chicken.
Come here, Mama.
Come here, Cash.
Come here, Mama.
Cash. Quick.
What time is that video recorded again, Lieutenant Dove?
The camera begins at 8:44:49 p.m.
And ends when?
At 8:45:47 p.m.
Nothing further from State.
Cross-examination.
Okay, I can understand why he's struggling, though. From the innocent standpoint, he's hearing basically the last words of his son, if he didn't do it. All this proves is that he's lied to the police.
Good morning, Lieutenant Dove. My name is Philip Barb. I represent Mr. Murdaugh.
Good morning.
We're going to have to go back and listen.
I'd like to get to a timeline as soon as possible, but first I want to go over just a few things we've been talking about. We talked about reading text messages when they're sent and when they're read.
Yes, sir.
Is it possible to see the contents of a text message without it being marked read?
Yes, sir, it is.
And how would that be?
If you have a notification on your phone on the lock screen that would show a text message, depending on how long the text message is, you could see the text message and read most of the content without actually opening it and reading the message.
And we talked about the battery on Paul's phone. It was down to 2% when that last text message was marked as read. Is that correct?
It was in that time frame, yes, sir.
And is it reasonable that someone whose battery is down to 2% might curtail their use of the phone?
It is possible, yes, sir.
We've talked a lot about orientation changes, and I think there was some discussion right before we saw that video about orientation changes, and I think we should go into some detail about exactly what that means. So, I'm going to show you what's been marked as Defendant's Exhibit 38. And do you recognize that, sir?
Yes, sir, I do. It appears to be part of the knowledge seed database with some tables changed up because it's so large to make it more readable.
A knowledge seed database for whose phone?
At the top it says Maggie Murdaugh's phone.
And you talked about the knowledge seed database a little bit yesterday, but maybe just to refresh, what is that? Knowledge seed database is a rather good-sized database. It records a lot of information inside your phone. It can be orientation changes. It can be whether a phone's plugged in to a wall, to a car. It can record such things as applications.
That was Paul's video.
If they're launched sometimes in there. It's a variety of things. It can record battery. It's part of the power log too, where it'll record the battery usage as far as the percents. Your Honor, at this time, a defendant would offer Exhibit 38 into evidence.
Says the state.
No objection.
It's admitted without objection.
And please publish to the jury. And can we go to the last page? And sir, if you please turn to the last page. Yes, sir.
That video was 8:44 p.m.
This is not a list of everything
Call
in
was like
knowledge seed,
10:05.
Correct.
This is just showing orientation changes.
Correct.
And is this showing all the orientation changes in this database in Maggie Murdaugh's phone?
For the time frame that it's set up, as far as June 3rd, 2021, it ends on June 7th, 2021.
You know if Maggie Murdaugh's phone had any orientation changes in the knowledge seed database before June 3rd?
Nothing that I remember seeing.
If we turn to the very last orientation change, do you see that it has date recorded 9:06 and 22 seconds?
Yes, sir, I do.
And that's on June 7th?
Yes, sir, it is.
Is that the last orientation change before the phone was recovered by law enforcement the next day?
According to what I looked at, that's the last one I saw.
And where was the phone recovered?
I'm not exactly sure. I wasn't at the scene. I know it was not recovered near the kennel area, but exactly where, I wasn't there, so I'm not sure.
I mean, are you aware that it was recovered from the side of the road into the woods about 15 feet?
I've heard that, but like I said, I was not on scene, so I can't say 100% I was there to see it.
What I want to ask about here is we have 3 different dates and times for this one orientation change, and I just want to understand what each one means. So the first one, date recorded, which is at 9:06 and 22 seconds, what does that mean?
That's when it recorded the orientation change.
So would that mean that that's when this line was written in the database?
Yes, sir.
So the start time for an orientation change, what does that mean?
It's when it started to record that the orientation change was happening.
Okay, and then I see the end time would be when it ended 8 seconds later, correct?
Yes, sir.
What does that mean for an orientation change to take 8 seconds?
That it was in that position.
So is it taking 8 seconds to go from portrait to landscape?
No, sir. It's recording that it was in that. It did not show that it changed. If it's in portrait, it didn't show that it changed from portrait to landscape or from landscape to portrait. It shows it was in that position for that period of time.
Okay. So, and then over here, this number, there's numbers that are 0 and 1. 0 would be landscape and 1 would be portrait, correct?
Yes, sir, correct.
Okay. So we have here, this is the last orientation change before it's recovered, and we have a start time and an end time of 12 seconds to 20 seconds.
Yes, sir.
And do you recall that there was an incoming phone call in that time period?
Yes, sir. There were incoming phone calls around the 9:04, 9:05, and I think at 9:08 also, or a text message around then.
Do you recall that there was a phone call between 9:06 and 12 seconds and 9:06 and 20 seconds?
Yes, sir, I believe there was.
And who was that call from?
It was from Alex Murdaugh.
So during the period of this orientation change, there's an incoming call from Alex Murdaugh?
Yes, sir.
And so during this period, the screen is on, correct?
The screen would light up once the call's made, yes, sir.
And it's ringing, correct?
I'm assuming it would be yes, sir.
Okay. We'll come back to that when we try to flesh out a little bit of a timeline.
Calling it while he throws it. Is that
the next thing I wanted to ask you about will show you what's been marked as Defendant's Exhibit 41. Do you recognize that, sir?
Yes, sir. This is another table from the Knowledge C database.
It's actually, isn't it the same table, sir?
Well, it's part of the same table. It's actually, the other one contained the orientation. This one contains apps.
And this one contains, well, let me ask this. When you, under stream name, do you see Siri UI?
Yes, sir, I do.
And do you understand what that is?
Yes, sir.
Okay. At this time, Mr. Murdaugh would offer Defendant's Exhibit 41 into evidence, Your Honor.
No, Judge.
It's admitted.
And publish, please.
I've never had them.
So
I've
this
never
looks
heard
similar.
them say the defendant
And we
is
see
going
that
to
it
offer
says
this.
Siri,
Mr.
and there's
Murdaugh's
things
going to
that say
offer
begin
this.
and end. What does UI mean?
It stands for user interface.
And so we see here the user interface is starting and stopping at these various times. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And what, on Maggie's phone, what would typically trigger the Siri user interface?
It could be several different things. If it's set up with Siri where there's a word that you say, you know, Siri or whatever you choose to say, it could activate it when it's listening. It could be hit the button, the power button to activate it. It could be several different things.
And hitting the button, is the button on the side of the phone?
Yes, sir.
If that's pressed and held for a couple of seconds, it comes on?
Yes, sir.
And I want to turn, do you know who a man named Al Johnson is in relation to this case?
Yes, sir, I do.
And who is he?
He is a private investigator that does digital forensics, retired from the FBI.
And did he do work on this case?
Yes, sir, I believe he did.
Okay. Did he do analyses of the phones in this case?
Yes, sir.
Have you ever seen those analyses?
I have not seen his completed reports, no, sir.
Okay. Have you seen his Axiom reports?
I have not seen all his Axiom reports, no, sir.
Let me ask this. When you looked at the steps and the time periods for the steps on Maggie's phone, Paul's phone, well, let's just talk about Maggie's phone and Alex's phone. Did the steps after 9 o'clock, say, did they ever go together? Were there steps happening on Alex's phone at the same time as Maggie's phone?
I would have to look at the two reports because I looked at them singly, so I would have to put them together to compare them.
Okay, well, let's find them. This morning? 284 and 290? 284 and 290? And marked as states 284, it is 284. It's been admitted as states 290.
We'll see that video tonight when they release it after the end of court.
And sir, just to understand the question, is there anything indicating that Maggie's phone and
Syncs on for
Alex's
me.
phone are moving together in those reports?
Let me look to see, compare the times. No, sir, it doesn't appear so.
Okay. If the same person had had both phones on them and one of the phones was recording a significant number of steps, would you expect to see the same number of steps or something very similar on the other phone?
I would expect to see steps on both phones, yes, sir.
And you would expect to see those steps over about the same time period?
Yes, sir, give or take a minute or two for entry in the database.
And then you would roughly expect to see the same number of steps on each phone?
Yes, sir, within a few.
Are you familiar with a timeline prepared by a special agent, and I hope I'm pronouncing his name correctly, Rudovsky, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Did you assist with the preparation of that timeline?
I reviewed it early on. I have not reviewed anything in the last week or two on it.
Well, let me ask about that. Early on, but not within the last week or two, that the case has been investigated, since 21. So were you assisting with that until a couple of weeks ago?
He provided me copies of it previously when it was in a working draft copy, just to verify that he was interpreting the information from my reports onto it correctly.
And now turning to Alex Murdaugh's vehicle, it was a Chevy Suburban, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And did you do any work regarding the electronics in that vehicle?
No, sir.
You had no involvement in anything with that vehicle?
As far as processing the data, no, sir. I just took the items or receipts from the vehicle, as far as the infotainment center, and prepared them and sent them to the FBI to be processed.
Have you ever seen any of the results from the FBI processing?
Yes, sir, I have.
Okay. So now I want to turn and start going through some of the text messages on Maggie's phone. We will. Maybe a little hard to read, sir, but do you recognize what's been marked as Defendant's Exhibit 54?
It appears to be a report for iMessages, SMS, and MMS messages.
And is this a report you prepared?
No, sir, I don't recognize this report.
Are you certain about that, sir? This was produced in the extractions. This is the Axiom report with bookmarked.
Yes, sir, but I did not prepare it like this.
It's a web page on the computer, correct, sir?
Yes, sir, it's an HTML page.
And then this is just a printout of that?
It says print this page at top, so I would assume that it is, yes, sir.
They just screen printed a website. Lots of lawyers there getting their heads together. That's today. He took the seat today up there. I guess he wants to hold the reins a little closer.
Sir, can you read under source, say on the third entry?
On the third entry of source?
Okay.
Yes,
And
sir.
do you see where it says CCRED and then it says Red Network Local and then slash and root and Dove, your name? Do you recognize any of that?
Yes, sir. That's the file path for our evidence server where this item, the extractions contained.
Your Honor, at this time, I would offer Defendant's Exhibit 54 into evidence.
No objection.
So admitted.
So this is, and could we please publish? And could we zoom in so that the left side of the screen is a little larger? Zoom in so the left side of the screen is larger and visible to the jury.
That burning smell you feel is it's
That's
Alex's
good.
alibi going up in smoke. Oh, just kidding. Fire department drives you right by the courthouse. Several
Lieutenant
times a
Dove,
day.
the times in the time column here are UTC, so we'll need to subtract 4 hours from them. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
I think they'll come back to it. They're not just going to leave it where they
And
did.
this is a listing of text messages that Maggie Murdaugh sent or received?
Yes, sir, it is.
Okay. So the second entry there, what's the time for that message?
The time it shows, the message sent time is June 7th, 2021. It shows it at 7:55:26 p.m., but to correct it to Eastern Standard Time at that point would be 3:55:26 p.m. That's with -4 UTC.
1 minute's view. I saw that one differently.
Is this incoming or outgoing message?
This records it as a message that was sent.
And does this message say, well, can you read the message?
It says, TY, I'm waiting at doctor. Alex wants me to come home. I have to leave door open at Edisto, but trust Mexicans to shut and lock for me. His dad is back in hospital. The last doctor claims no cancer, it's pneumonia.
Okay, and does this continue on to 3? Well, let's just continue. Could you read number 3?
Yes, it's hard to tell where it separates on this report, but there's 2 emojis, and it says, Alex is about to die. Hope he doesn't go down there to sleep. Alex needs to take care of himself as well.
And what was the time on that one?
That text message was June 7th, 2021. It shows it at 7:57:16 p.m. To correct to UTC -4 would be 3:57:16 p.m.
And then if we come down to number 5, that's an incoming message from Mr. Murdaugh, isn't it? That we looked at before.
Yes, sir.
And what does it say?
It says,
Remind me on
how's
the break.
your
I'll tell you on the
doctor
break.
appointment,
Or,
or APPT?
And if we go to the second page, and number 6 there, is that an outgoing message?
It shows it as a received and read message.
Okay. And what does it say?
It says, yes, he does. He told me he was tired when he left. I hope they can treat Mr. Randolph at least to make him comfortable.
Now, the next one, number 7, is that a reply to the how was your doctor visit message?
Yes, sir, it appears so.
And what does it say?
Waiting as usual.
And number 8, is that an outgoing message?
It is a sent message, yes, sir.
And what does it say?
It says, I'm scared for him and Alex and all of us.
Okay. In the context of these text messages, do you understand that to be referring to Mr. Randolph Murdaugh's medical condition?
Yes, sir, I do.
And what's the time on that?
That time is June 7th, 2021. It shows at 8:06:43 p.m. To correct it to -4 UTC would be at 4:06:43 p.m.
Okay. And number 9, what does that, is that incoming or outgoing?
It shows it as a received and read text message.
Okay. And what does this text message say?
It says, I know, just pray about it and hope he gets a little better. Alex and you really need to relax. Always being on the go with little to no sleep is not healthy. Remember that I have a doctor's appointment in the morning in Beaufort. If I get done early, I will go to Moselle. I'll let you know.
Okay, let's skip down to page 4, which I believe will be our next message from Mr. Murdaugh. And we're looking at number 18. Is this an incoming message from Mr. Murdaugh?
I apologize. I believe the juror raised his hand.
Yes, yes, Your Honor. We're having a little difficulty seeing this. If they could blow it up just a little bit. Just a little smaller part, please. Can't see the small print.
If we could make the message text in particular with the date. Yeah.
It's the way they work here in the courtroom. They've got this Elmo machine that they can blow up, but the screen for the jury is not huge. So they're... Suzanne, I think in some of these text messages it shows maybe a little bit of not a great relationship. That's what I heard anyway. So we'll see. Alex is insisting that the wife goes to the Moselle property. She's at the beach property, I think, and then they're going to go together somewhere else. And she's like, well, that would have been a longer trip for her, but he's insisting she goes up there that night. So that's what we're reading here in the text. There's crap all over in the courtroom. People are going to be tripping over that box. Mark my words.
Proceed.
Your Honor, I would ask the court to please ask the jury if they can now see.
Is there anyone who cannot see?
Thank you, Your
Proceed.
Honor. Line 18, who is this text message from?
The text message, it shows the client, or the chat ID is 1-803-942-1227.
Is that Alex Murdaugh?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And what is the time of this message?
The time of this message is June 7th, 2021, 11:05:55 p.m. To correct to minus UTC is going to be 7:05:55 p.m.
And what does the message say?
Paul says you were getting petty. Call when you get done.
And there are 2 exclamation marks after petty, correct?
Yes, sir, correct.
Showing some, and petty, you would understand here to mean pedicure?
Yes, sir. To the best of my knowledge, it is.
Now, number 20 would be the next text message from Mr. Murdaugh, and what is the time on that?
The time on that, on the paper, it's June 8th, 2021 at 1:08:58 a.m. To correct the time to minus 4 UTC would make the day June 7th, 2021 at approximately 9 o'clock, 9:08:58.
Jury can't talk until they start deliberations.
And what does this one say?
Going to check on M, be right back.
And then finally, number 21, I'll just ask, is this at 9:47 and 23 seconds p.m.?
Yes, sir, once it's corrected for the UTC.
And what does this say?
It says, call me, babe.
And who is it from?
It's from the same phone number of 1-803-942-1227, and that phone number is for Alex Murdaugh.
Ask about that 908 text message, because I think the state talked about that a bit. Let me ask this. Do you know when that text message was actually displayed on Maggie Murdaugh's phone?
I would have to check the report to see if it actually shows the display time or when it recorded in the log. But I believe it was the 9:08 mark.
Come back to that. Let's talk now a bit about the timeline from about 8:50 p.m. to 9:08. Right, very narrow and get into some real detail on it. And if I could have an easel.
Give me a second. Let me check my site here. Hold tight, hold tight.
I'm going to ask about some times, and you may need to refer to the reports. If so, let me know, and I'll bring them up.
Yes, sir.
And I'm really talking, well, let's first just talk about Paul's phone. We established that it locked at 8:49 and 1 second. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And it did not unlock again?
Correct.
And it was at 2% battery?
Yes, sir.
So we don't really know much about what happened after that time from his phone, do we?
Just what was recorded in the logs.
Was anything reported in logs after